Okay, we should be good.
All righty, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town Pools Project Building Committee special meeting for Thursday, July 11th, 2024. Time now is 6:30. Can we stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No. I think I'm good.
Echo canceling speakerphone.
That's just the thing it's coming from. I think I have to go to. Dave did not go over the code. Okay. And then I'll just turn it up for public participation, I'm gonna guess. We'll see.
They're gonna be able to hear it, huh?
Can they hear us?
Yeah, they should be able to hear.
Somebody just said the sound was terrible, but before you said you were gonna turn it up, so. I don't know.
We're talking about
We're not saying anything,
the
so they're gonna be
back
able to hear us.
Can they hear us now?
Talk.
How about
Somebody
now?
talk.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Catherine, how does it sound? That's me. You said seems to be okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's probably the.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Jim, I don't have the thing to take the roll, so I think the only one that is missing is John Donahue, correct?
Yes.
Everybody else is here. Okay. And, all righty, public participation. Hand up.
Don't, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, go.
Go ahead, ladies
Ladies
first.
first.
There you go.
So, meaning just who I am, or?
State your name and your address, and then you have 4 minutes to say whatever
Oh,
you'd
you want
like
me
to
to say
say.
something now? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I do want. Colleen Kelly, 20 Harold Drive in Newington. And one thought that I had, but it wasn't really my thought, it's a friend's thought. He lives in New Britain, and they had similar situation with pools that were just unmanageable, old, blah, 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 the works. And what they did, the mayor did, is filled in one of the pools and made it their splash pad. And I thought it was a good idea. I'm just presenting it as such, as something to look into. I don't know the need for the 2 pools, and I'm not saying that. I don't know how that just came out, but I'm just saying I don't know the need. I don't have the statistics for 2 pools, and I also don't know if it's been brought up with the high school and the pool, and I didn't know if that's part of this initiative or not. But if that was something to consider, it might be money to use for the high school pool.
Okay, thank you. That was Bill who used to work there, and right. Oh, this is Bill DeMille, and he used to be the superintendent of the recreation.
So I did fill in a waiting pool, it's just made a splash pad.
Yeah, and a lot of people were very happy.
And that's the plan for Churchill Park also.
Okay.
The waiting.
The waiting
Bill and
ones.
the waiting pool.
Yeah, maybe the waiting pool.
Okay. Next, anybody with a hand up? Go ahead.
Bill McCarthy, 206 Churchill Drive. First, I want to say congratulations to Bill for 10 years of service here at Newington. Quite a tenure. I was reading some minutes from 2014, I think it was. And it sounds like this pool thing was just sort of like dumped in your lap.
Yeah.
And it sounded that from what I read, it had already gone through the architectural and design plans, and everything was up and going, and this was over 10 years ago. So I guess what I'm saying is that we've gone through this process for 10 years. So we've had committees, the Parks and Rec was handling it for a while. Then the town council formed a couple of committees. And now here we are at least 10 years later, there's stuff they were talking about doing Churchill Park back in 2005, so that's even further back. I support doing something with the pools, and the proposal as it is of the Garfield Street and Churchill Park splash pad. I totally support both initiatives, and I think we should be focusing on how we can get it onto the referendum as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Do we have anybody waiting online?
Yep, we have one Karen here. All right, so
Karen Peterson, hello.
Hi, Karen Peterson, 144
but
4th.
then,
But she does have her.
but the
Karen?
volume is off on the computer now, so
okay.
2 seconds here. I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Excellent. Okay. Karen Peterson, 144 Forest Drive. I just wanted to call in. Is everybody still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. There was something weird that came up on the screen. It just said, please stand by. I'm sorry. I just wanted to call in and express my support for the pool project. You know, someone had just mentioned the New Britain pools, and I can remember when my kids were a little bit younger. They're teenagers now, but when they were a little bit younger, like 8 and 10, they used to want to go over to my mother's house in the summers because she lives near A.W. Stanley in New Britain. And when they put in that new pool and the new locker rooms with the diving boards in the pool and then the new splash pad, they just absolutely loved it. They wanted to go there every day in the summer. And I just think it's really important, you know, to try to keep people in Newington or get people from other towns to come into Newington, similar to what I did by bringing my kids to New Britain to go to the pool. I said the same thing about a dog park, right? I was always bringing my dogs to Weathersfield or Rocky Hill or somewhere else. Can we just get something in Newington? I want to stay in town. I want to get my Dunkin' Donuts downtown and bring my dog to the dog park or bring my kids to the pool, or, you know, I just think, you know, as a taxpayer, I know taxes are high. It's hard to afford things, but you know what? I feel like our tax money needs to go towards things that help build a great community. And I think a community pool is one of those things that's worth spending money on. Keep people in Newington, keep the kids happy, keep them occupied during the summer. My daughter just got her first summer job working for Parks and Rec at the pools, and she loves it. She tells me how busy the pools are, but you know, you can see they're old. They're getting old. The facilities are old, and they could just use some love. And I am willing to, you know, use my tax dollars to pay for an upgrade. I have no opinion on whether or not we should move the pool to Garfield or renovate the existing structure. Really, you know, I leave that to the professionals, but I just wanted to just call in and express my support either way for a project to upgrade our town's pools. I think they're lovely, and I think Parks and Rec is doing a great job with everything they put on, and I'd like to see that continue. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, anybody else for public participation? Nope, nope, nope. Okay, yes. Oh, Don, sorry, I forgot.
That's okay. Don Woods, 8289. So I've been following a lot of the conversation on social media, and part of it bothers me that this constant repeating of this building committee is not being transparent. I honestly don't know how much more transparent we could be. This building committee is following what the previous building committee started. And it went through a whole process of looking at the locations available to the new Mill Pond Pool location. And basically, I believe there was 3. 1 is the existing, 2 is up by the Sensory Garden, and 3 was Garfield. We did test boring to find out where the best possible location due to water tables, piping, and a lot of other issues with the site. The site's a difficult site. And the two sites that were favored by the committee, I was on that committee, just to make it clear, so was Carol. And we came up with Garfield Street. And there was a discussion that it should stay closer to the Sensory Garden and the playground. Well, after the test bores, up by the Sensory Garden, the water table, they hit after 3 or 4 inches. It's a saturated area. Down by Garfield is 3 to 4 feet before they hit groundwater. So I said to myself, to try to rationalize, maybe if I gave an example of how this conclusion came that Garfield was the best. Let's say you were building a house or a pool, and you had 2 or 3 locations. 2 were narrowed down. 1 was absolutely the worst possible choice. 2 was the best choice. Anybody here pick 2 or 1? Where would you go? The best choice possible. That was presented to us, and it was presented to the council bipartisan. It was a bipartisan vote for the previous committee to bring it to the council. And the D's at the time were in minority, the R's were in majority, but it's still voted bipartisan. It went, the majority at the council didn't want to go for it. Okay, that was the end of the story. So here we are today. What's not being transparent? Nobody had any concerns when we were talking about this project when it was being built, or considered being built from the previous building committee. All that information was out there. That same information was out there. I don't understand it. I really don't. And for me, anyone to consider putting the pool in the worst location, I don't want to insult anybody, but honestly, it's stupid. I have no other word for it. Why would you do that? There is no reason why you would do that when you have another alternative. It is multiple times better than what it is. So I'm sure there'll be disagreement, but I feel strongly that this project should go forward as it's being presented. And I wish you all the best of luck getting it there.
Okay, I changed my mind now. I wanted to. Hi, I'm stupid. No. Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. So he's right, there were several things presented. I think a lot of people have a problem with, we see that this committee only looked at the Garfield location. We did not see them reviewing the other locations. And it's not just the playground, but it is putting the pool where it was. We have pricing for that from the last time.
I said that.
So I think that's where the transparency and the frustration is running from this committee. And I also, even though I wasn't on any of those boards, I watched the meetings. I do know the architect had workarounds for the water tables at the other 2 locations. And that's it. Thank you.
Can I say one more thing?
No.
Yes, there were workarounds. But the professional, not the committee, the professional was guided by the professional. And he kept saying time and time again, the best location for the pool is Garfield for security, accessibility, and programmability. That's where it makes sense. That's where it should go.
Can I say something? I'm only going.
No.
I'm actually.
Let somebody speak. Talk after the meeting.
Okay.
You gotta have it one way or the other way, you gotta have.
I won't do it again.
Thank you very much.
I mean, this is where the part of the transparency comes through. If you break the rules for somebody, but then you don't break, you
I
gotta have.
understand.
it's
Fair,
fair
fair,
both sides.
you're correct. Okay.
I can address it
Normally,
closer.
can I just, I need to explain to you. Normally, when you have participation, you get to say your piece and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's no back and forth, and that was just broken there. So
I was wrong.
if you would like to redress that, go ahead. You can have your extra 2 minutes.
I just was curious why the council turned it down, that's all. When you said it, and I don't wanna get a big discussion, I can do it
We'll-
after the meeting, someone can
Yeah.
email me. I was just curious
Yep,
why it
okay.
was turned down, that's all.
Okay. Do you want to talk?
No, really, I can
okay.
say it for like.
All right, that's fine.
We have one more online.
Who's that?
It's it's Paula.
Oh, Rose, you there?
Hi, Rose Lyons. 46 Elton Drive, and I want to address the open and transparency that I have been one of the most vocal about. First of all, it started out with me seeing the Parks and Rec meeting of May, I think, sometime, when Carol Annist and you, Eileen, were appointed to the Mill Pond Park Project Committee. And then there was a little back and forth at the town council about how did the Parks and Rec know about the new committee when the town councilors in the majority and the minority did not know. I'm not going to go through that whole history, but yes, Don Woods was on the committee, Carol was on the committee. Certainly Bill DeMayo knows what was chosen and what wasn't chosen, what was your favorite. Have you as a group in this new committee voted on a plan? I asked you last week, were you going with the plan that was previously presented and adding a splash pad to Churchill Park? And I still didn't get an answer to that. I heard you go back and forth as to what the budget was, crossing off, adding. I know what went on, you know what went on, but the general public does not know what went on. And quite honestly, I guess they don't care. Well, I happen to care where $12 million is being spent. And I'd like to see what the plan is. I'd like to see the budget. And I've never seen a committee come in with a pre-decision. And I could be very wrong on this, but I told you, Eileen, after the committee was formed, that I hope there weren't any side conversations. And if there are, share that information with the people that are sitting there listening to what you're saying at the table. You're flipping through notebooks, you're looking at information. There's not one handout other than the agenda, maybe something else that I missed. But that's what the open and transparency problem is that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Okay. All right. Anybody else for public participation? Anybody else on there? No?
No, I don't.
Okay. So old business, our first thing, well, it's not really old business, but we wanted to welcome our new members, which are Councilor Mackey and John Donahue. John's not with us tonight. He had a previous commitment, but we will, get what we can to him. Everything's online. Do you need any of the paperwork?
Yeah, I'd like written minutes from the last 2 meetings and any handouts that we've done. But I purchased down so I can. Hard copies.
Hard copies. Okay.
I can pick them up if you want. It's not-
I think you're part of the building committees in Parks and Rec. List serve, right? So you get everything that they get.
Correct, but I get it. I'm an old fashioned guy. I want hard copy in my printing.
That's fine.
So it doesn't do me any good to get it online if I can.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a clean copy.
Yeah, no,
It shouldn't be that big a deal.
No.
I told you,
This one.
I got everything.
You have those? Okay. Those are tonight.
So any copy, any minutes you have, just hard copies of the last 2 meetings.
Okay,
Somebody go.
we'll get them to you.
Again, I would have been here except I was only appointed Thursday.
Minutes. Okay, we'll get those to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Point of order.
Yeah.
Eileen, you said all this stuff you handed out was online. I couldn't find it anywhere online, so that's
Tonight's stuff or?
maybe tonight's agenda, but like the little handouts you had last week with the maps and stuff, I couldn't find that anywhere.
Oh, no. Okay. All right, that's fine. Maps. Those were last minute things I think that were already done. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I'll get those to you. And I'll make an extra copy for John, probably see before I would.
John also got them too.
He did.
Mrs. Chairman.
Yes, okay. All right. Okay. We're gonna back up, we're gonna look at the review of the splash pad. Do we have those pictures available up there or no?
You are asking for a miracle here. Yes,
I have them in paper if anybody
Yeah.
wants them.
I have them in my email, so yeah, they're not on the slide here. So I have in my email.
You pull them up on Facebook. I don't know, just put them on YouTube.
It was in the last presentation.
Stay on it.
Yeah,
Last meeting.
It's not, yeah, but it's not included in this slide, so,
Yeah, I have them all.
Do you have to have a code to turn on the copier, or can I just make copies?
Their color, I don't know if it's, is that a color?
no, they're in my town email, they're not even, I can't log into my town email on this.
You know, I might have, can I send you my email? I have it on my phone.
Yeah,
Make
Yeah,
it
you can do
straight,
that.
I keep all that, everything. Yeah, I mean,
I promise I got nothing weird in my email, so.
I'm thinking you're a brave man.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Not worried about it.
Dear AJ.
You do, you have a letter from me.
Oh, true, no, that's my work.
You're gonna get to see your password now too?
I hope not.
There you are. All right, I'll send this to you.
Why?
Nail. Hey,
This keyboard's a little messed up too.
there you go.
I think we all appreciate that you're trying to take this on. AJ.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
Here we go.
Nope.
Should I send it to the Gmail?
Yeah, the Gmail.
Okay, it's on its way.
Yeah, it's just, for the conspiracy people, AJ, we have no staff left to work. And this really isn't our job as facility
All right,
development.
you should be getting it.
So we're trying very hard to use people in our office, but nobody's available. We have cornhole going on, we have 2 pools open, we have badminton, pickleball, all kinds of things going on. Our staff this is the busiest month of the year for anybody in our business. So, and we're planning for a life being an extravaganza next week. So it's been very difficult. So AJ at the last minute came through. We asked Lauren Rhines, we asked James, we asked anybody that would come. And we even checked on, they have a couple of meetings that were canceled today, but we couldn't get any staff to run this thing. AJ came forward at the last
And you're
minute.
doing a great job.
Oh, yeah, anyway, so yeah, we got them up here on the screen now. Here's the first one, the circular one. And then we can cycle through, and these are all just concepts, not like hard designs or anything like that, just shows like what they could look like, what amenities are possible in the future. Here's another one.
And again, I would suggest anybody who hasn't seen a good one, go to Middletown, go to South Windsor. You can Google them and, it'll give you an idea of what some of these play features look like, so you can see them, for yourself. They're very cool and very pretty to look at.
Yeah, edge.
You can also go to Arley Beach, Australia if you want.
There you go.
Okay, we'll do a field trip.
So back up to that one that had the edge around it, that one. What do you guys think about having the edge around the outside?
I like the idea that someone could sit
Yeah,
on it, but I mean, I don't know how it ties into the shade types of things or.
Right.
Yeah, there's no shade structures on any of these.
No,
The
but
thing-
I do like that concept.
keeps it contained too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that, and then I was thinking about kids walking on it and
That's
falling and going.
Oh, yeah,
That's
no, there's that
exactly,
too.
that's exactly,
I'm walking, running.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly what I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
skateboarding on it at night.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll-
That's,
Oh.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
that's what I'm concerned about, because if we're not gonna have lifeguards or anything around there, it,
Good point.
yeah.
Isn't that gonna be fenced in by, with the pool?
we can still.
yes, but it doesn't mean that the kids who are in the water when.
Yeah,
when-
With
when-
right,
when-
no, well, she was talking about skateboarding.
They
bring their
They'll
skateboard.
climb the
They'll
fence.
have to wait over,
I
yeah.
mean, you're.
Just cut the fence.
Yeah, hopefully not.
That's a
Yeah, we're
good
not gonna
point.
go there. But yeah, at first I liked that, and then I was concerned about, it's a nice place for somebody to sit. It's a closer, it's a good place for a parent to sit who's watching someone. But if kids running on them, kids falling off them.
Still have the benches.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's just a
exactly.
little farther away. If I had a little kid, I wouldn't be that far. Go ahead,
They
Jim.
said they can't see this on the video.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't know if you're just sharing. one
There's,
screen.
it's,
says I'm sharing, you're sharing your screen. What can they see?
nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Jane says. Don't share the slideshow. Here's, to change how I'm sharing the screen. Maybe now.
Yeah, can we see it now?
yes, no.
Waiting.
Oh,
Me too.
takes a while to travel that far, right?
It's not just across the park.
These changes watching. Changes. It's good, I'm good with you.
They're just seeing the PowerPoint.
Yeah, just the PowerPoint.
Still.
Oh, wait, my other friend said yes now.
Okay.
Oh.
I think
Okay,
you
good.
Fixed it, yeah.
Okay,
Alright,
so,
we're getting there.
Technology.
We start from the beginning then.
Yep,
So
okay.
everyone can see, so we have the circular one.
and I don't think our concern so much is the shape rather than just the amenities that are there, the different types of sprinklers that are there. I think that's where we're focusing. I had a question about what the surface was going to be made out of,
Concrete,
concrete.
for $500,000 more, you can put rubber. But it doesn't last more than 5 years with the chlorine.
It's no investment.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't having chlorine. It's
All water has chlorine when you recycle it.
when you recycle,
So all summer long, it'll be chlorinated water. Right,
when the pool is open.
Yeah.
When the pool isn't open,
It's the UV.
It'll
like shoulder months,
yeah,
it'll be fresh water
so if it's gonna have chlorine in it, why do we need the UV thing?
because the tank is underground and it doesn't have sunlight. So it grows bacteria underground. So you UV it as if the sun was beating on it underground in the dark
Where's the chlorine getting to?
at the filtration system.
I'm not a plumber. That's all I can say, I'm not a plumber, I don't come and get where it gets from the bottom to the, if it's gonna get from underneath and go through a filtration system, doesn't it get all the crud out of it, or no? The chlorine doesn't kill it, you know? Okay, and, I know I talked to you about this today, but there was a person who posted and also called me online that had some question about the effect of goose poop. And, yeah, what that has on the water and, does that UV get rid of it underwater? And how do we make sure that it's not gonna have coliform?
Okay, so we've studied geese for many, many years, right? So we have now 2 goosenators that are radio controlled predators that chase geese from the grass into the pond, and then it has pontoons. We stick it in the pond and it goes after the geese. It makes it very uncomfortable for them to live here at Mill Pond or at Churchill or at the high school fields. We haven't just lately been able to do it because we're so strung out. I can't afford to put 2 staff members using these things. These last couple of weeks, we're down some staff members. I feel very comfortable that geese migrate to a place where there's a pond of water where they can find safety. So if they eat the grass here and someone comes, they run into they fly into the water so that the predators can't get them. At the splash pad, couple things. 1, there's no standing water. And 2, the water's only on at each play feature for about 2 minutes. So they're not going to be attracted to the water. It will be fenced in. Certainly they can fly over it, but they're not going to be attracted to it. And they're going to be scared to death to be in there when there's human beings in there. You see them at Mill Pond at night because it's a body of water that, again, they feel safe in and that people can't get to them. But I don't have any problem whatsoever with the splash pad. We didn't have at all 5 splash pads. We had a large goose problem in my former city, and we never had a problem with the splash pad.
Did you have a goosenator over there?
No, they're brand new.
I like the idea of a hallucinator. That's a good-
But I paid $58,000 a year for a company to come in and chase geese all day long at 7 parks and a golf course. So it's expensive.
Yeah, there's a good crop of them over there.
We've just signed an agreement with USDA, so they're helping us study the problem and try to minimize what's going on by a variety of their techniques.
Okay. All righty. So I don't think we need to select water features tonight because I think we need to have a better view of what the companies like he's gonna come in and show us more like what's a 3-inch and what's a. Like
Yeah.
which ones have the little pipes and which ones have the bigger pipes and what we can afford to buy, how many of each, right? Something like
Yeah,
that.
what would happen is through the process of final design,
Mhm.
Mike and I would present to you some ideas. But what happens is it's a math calculation. So you could tell us what you kind of like to see, and then we would throw in the arch or the paddle, or the buckets or whatever. But everything goes from a 1/2 inch pipe all the way to 2 inches. And we have to calculate the amount of water that the pumps can handle. And then we would say, well, we would love to do these 3 things, but it's gonna cost this amount of money, blah, blah, blah. So you add and subtract the features when it comes to the final design, and you guys would all be the people that would make the final decisions. But you just give us some ideas and we'll come back to you with things that work, with the filtration system and the holding tank.
Is it possible to add features on or subtract features if they crap out?
After the fact, is that what you mean?
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean, yeah. So
It's,
if the flower thing dies for some reason, or someone hangs on it and breaks it.
we would probably fix it, but this vortex, the reason why we recommended vortex, it's steel. And it's the hardest, most vandal resistant program in the world. I went to the toughest neighborhoods in Texas and found out that, everywhere, they tried several other companies that had fiberglass and plastic, et cetera. And they just went with this vortex company. So it's not likely that they're gonna be destroyed, but if they are, you can replace them. Or if you say 5 years down the road, you wanted to replace it, if the mushroom had a 2-inch pipe, you could replace it with a 2-inch.
There's 2 inches,
feature.
as long as the
Yeah,
same.
another
same
feature,
diameter.
right, right. Yeah, well,
But we probably couldn't add anything, correct?
no, you wouldn't add or subtract, features once you were into it. Because then it would throw off the math.
Okay, yes.
Are there any vortex splash pads around this area already made? Like
All of probably New Britain,
all of New Britain?
yeah, there's 4 or 5 there.
And then just on that, I assume there would be some sort of warranty on some of this?
I'm assuming they are. I can tell you a funny story. My office staff, I had Rainbird and Raindrop come in and they said, this thing is you can't break it with a bat, you can't. So I called my buddy Eric. I said, Eric, go down the storage room, get me a baseball bat. So I was in my office and I took the bat and I started smashing this thing. And my whole staff thought I was killing somebody in my office, but it wasn't the case. And I broke through it. So then I took the Vertex pipe and I hit it once and I almost broke my hands because it vibrated so bad on the bat and it hurt me. So I learned quickly that the Vortex was probably the strongest piece of equipment we could ever buy.
And will they come in and do a presentation for us of some sort, or how's that gonna work?
I've never seen them do it. Maybe Brian Iafallo that represents them, but it wouldn't. I could ask them, but I'm not sure. I've never seen that presentation.
How many water features do they usually have?
Could be anywhere from 18 to 30, something like that. Like a spray coming from, there's sprays that come from the ground, from the floor. If you count that, it's some extra features. You
Like
might
the
put
water?
5 or 6 of those, but about 20 is probably a good number.
And that would, with the 20 or how many features would also affect the price, correct?
Yeah, the sprays are $1,000 and the biggest bucket thing is about 50 or 60,000 and everything in between. So it could be 5,000, 10,000 featured. And that's also gonna come in your final decision on what you want. Because we're gonna have a certain amount of budget allocated towards features and then we'll see what we can fit in there.
And there's no way to turn feature, I mean, if you had the bucket, that would probably make no sense in April or October. There's no way to turn those features off and just have the water from the bottom shoot up.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, you said it was all
Said
electronic.
that, you said that. Computer program.
Yeah.
right, but I wouldn't turn them off in April or May or April, May.
It's hot.
Yeah, I mean, because it's fun and the kids don't have to stand under it if they don't want it. It's your choice as a kid.
Right, but if we're operating a.
To your point, we could turn it off
What
whenever.
it costs to operate that bucket, but if you put water in a bucket to dump it out that no one's underneath, Exactly.
Well, they have to push a button.
They
Yeah.
push a button, there's these little things that where you hit the button, you say, I want the bucket.
It's totally
You
computerized.
hit the button and you stand on.
I know, I understand what
So,
you're saying.
so my grandson goes to push the button, he's not gonna go under it to get wet, he's just gonna push the button
Because it's fun.
26
Cause he
times.
likes to go,
Oh,
oh, it's like.
oh, but if we're paying to have that water dump out.
Yeah,
So the answer is yes, you, by the computer, you could turn it off.
but the water's not being recycled, it's not, it's,
Well, he's talking about April and May, so that would be gray water, and
Yeah.
water in the grass or the.
yeah. But we didn't talk about gray,
We didn't.
explain about gray water to Tim.
Oh, so when the pool bathhouse is open, Tim, there would be hot soapy showers. And then you could recycle the water by state health code. So we would do that. And then, on the shoulder months, April and then to October, you would close the bathhouse for, yeah, well, if we have solar, we're not sure about that yet. We might keep it open for some longer periods of time, but nonetheless, if we did close the pool, there weren't hot showers, soapy showers available by state law, we would turn the water into gray water. Instead of throwing it away, we would be environmentally sound, pump it into our irrigation systems and water the fields. Yeah, no.
Is there a sprinkler system right now?
Yeah.
Only where the baseball field is?
Yeah.
So that's gonna get,
It would, probably we're gonna open up because there's so much soccer and dodgeball now and kickball and like football,
Mhm.
we probably will put irrigation in the field. We can do that in-house.
can you move what you have or no?
It's so old that I don't think it'd be valuable to do that.
Okay. All right. Okay, yes,
It kind of triggered something. So did we haven't really talked about the operating costs from like month to month? I know we talked about like the total cost, but do we have an ballpark of like how much it costs to have a splash pad on for April, May? Like, is there any idea about that?
I don't have an operating cost yet because we have to determine how big it's gonna be and how many features and how much gallons per minute that we use. But everything is totally mapped out. So if you took the bucket thing, it would say it takes X amount of gallons per minute, and we would figure it out, and Mike Fortuna could present that to us. It wasn't astronomical, I can tell you that. It was very affordable when we went through it. And it also depends on, if we do the solar technique or if we get a heat exchanger, those if issued or price money to it. But I can tell you with all the new equipment that's out, it's gonna be much more efficient and much more cost effective than the old pools that are 65 years old.
okay, Karen.
Okay, pardon this, how does it operate? So you push the button, is it the water pressure or is it powered by electricity? How does the feature work? How does the water come out or?
It's a variety of pumps. So yes, I guess the pumps are electric and they're underground, not, you can't see them. They're in a bathhouse or something, or in a building. And, in the computer is just an on and off switch for, say, the rainbow is gonna go on for 2 minutes. So all the kids run to the arch, then that goes off and the shooting fountain spray goes on for another 2 minutes. And the kids run back and forth all over the place. And it has 8 different sequence, 8 to 12 actually. And you can redesign it and computerize it so the kids never know where it's gonna go on and off and how it's gonna work. But there's a bollard at the beginning when you get to the main focus, the kids just hit it and that starts the cycle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's not each thing
No,
has
no.
it's just a one main button. and-
Yes. Yeah, and it's a sequence. So and then you can turn that bollard on and off whenever you want. So say, for instance, you wouldn't want kids to put it on at midnight. So it starts at 9 in the morning and it goes off at 9 at night, say. And you can do it that way. So you have a little bit of control over it too. So you're never wasting water when there's not kids there.
I would imagine it's like Stu Leonard, you know how they hit the button a million times. Gotta watch those things go. Anybody else have a question? We're good? We're good? Good. Yes, okay. Okay, so now, next on the agenda was to, look at the one-page budget review that we got today. I want to make sure we're looking at the one that says July 2024. Would you pick up a copy of this?
Didn't know they were ready to be.
Yes.
I will take them for all of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
You need this? Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Oh, sorry.
he's got it in.
Okay. So,
Is there any way to present this on the screen also?
Do we have a,
um,
are we testing our skills now?
I can send it to
Just
you.
know-
Yes, yeah, just feel free to scan.
I can
Wanna
hold
be
this up to the
transparent.
camera.
Right down here, so.
Yeah.
Which that came, what day was that? Anybody remember? I thought it's-
Couple days ago.
An interview. Tuesday was our meeting, you know, and he did it Wednesday. So today's the. No, I mean, Sunday. He did it Tuesday. I see you either got it Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right here,
You
July
got it?
9th at 4:30.
All right, let me- If you have it, you want to forward, Shane?
7-Eleven, don't forget to stop on.
Who did it come from, Sam?
Alyssa,
Melissa Miller.
Okay, wait a minute,
you got it?
I think I got it. July 9th.
Got the 4:30,
Yeah, okay.
phase one. Yeah. Since you use that.
Since it bothered you, you want me to,
No, it's okay.
I can turn it on
You can. Wait, can you control it from here, from a computer?
Take
my phone.
make sure.
No, it sounds good.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, okay, it was the right thing, yeah.
Okay.
You should,
All right.
yeah, there it is.
You got it?
Okay.
Can they see it at home?
I also
See it there?
Excuse me? Okay,
It's the front
The
page.
front page, oh, just the front.
Yeah, it should be.
okay, we're good. Okay.
Making it happen.
So if we're looking at this, the main difference between the November 17th, 2023, similar looking budget that came out, and this one is the addition of a splash pad at Churchill, which is a rough guesstimate, is a little over $1 million. Hard to figure because we really haven't talked exact size or features or anything like that, so that's gonna have a little wiggle room in it, I would assume.
And this has, probably, the cost of living adjusted for soft cost of $100,000.
Yeah, he said he.
Yep, and then also the owner's contingency went up.
10%.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't here Monday nights, so I
Yeah.
apologize. I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's no problem.
And the
Yeah.
contingency is obviously, if you have a good day, you have good bids and all that kind of stuff, it's,
Right, it just
it's
really went
probably
up
safe.
less than 10%. Yeah, it didn't go up much. So you look at the baseball field removal, that's exactly the same. The sports field rework, still stays up the same. It doesn't say anything about a sprinkler system in there, Bill.
I think it'll be part of, once they dig it up with their grader, it's coming up anyway. It'll be taken out of there, if that's what you mean.
No. Field sports rework, I assume that you said was because you needed the field to use for, kickball or whatever.
Soccer.
Yeah, soccer and all of that. And you just had said that they were possibly gonna move that, sprinkler system over into the general main field, but
No, I did not say that.
No.
no, what you said, you're
I
gonna
said we're gonna
put
rip
it
it up.
later.
Rip it up.
Yeah,
Yes,
Taking it away.
Get rid of
but
it.
you wouldn't put one in the new, I thought you wanted to put one in the new
I
field.
probably would do a new one with our own staff inside. If the
alright.
250,000 doesn't cover it, we can see.
Okay, so I see. All right, so that's what I was asking. I mean, you said that would
The
be your
quote for
field.
the baseball field removal of 34,000 would include the ripping up of the.
Basically, what I said before was the backstop is heavy, it has to be demolished, and it has to be put into, has to get
Yeah.
given to it.
But that quote would also include ripping up the sprinkler system.
But the sprinkler system is gonna come up with grading and
Okay.
construction,
Okay.
just
I
by,
just want to make sure there's no surprises out there. That's all.
It's probably in between A and B.
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
I guess.
Between those two should be there.
It may be enabled us, because we can lights on.
In the air? Oh, I can see, I see where it is.
Where's
The light should be right on the wall there.
I think the air is too.
Yeah, there's.
So,
Do we not move, are these motions?
They just weren't on earlier, that's all.
And it's gotten dark out. so-
Yeah.
Okay.
I need my sunglasses.
Yeah.
You-
Oh, well, I-
Maybe I can adjust that.
You need a glass?
me-
Yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, you
Oh,
got it.
you got it.
Oh, that's better, that's better.
Tim, is that okay?
Yeah, it's better.
Once you have cataract, I think it'd be a little brighter. My readers are too now. There you go.
Okay. So, we're good with the first two. Now aquatics is the, $7.5 million. And if you look at C. Are there any questions about what's included in there or anything that anybody would like to discuss? We're good?
Good.
What's the lawns for 40,000?
Inside the pool itself, there's a lot of grass. There's a lot of open space, there's a lot of grass, there's, you know, for kids to.
Yeah,
their
yeah,
health
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that stuff, yeah.
3,000?
I have no idea.
Depending on what time of year it is, it may be sodded, just so, depending on when you wanna open and what season it is.
So. So parts would be sod or
No, what,
part of it would be sod and part of it would be, I don't understand,
grass?
yeah,
You either grow grass by seed or you sod it,
Right.
depending on if it's fall or spring or summer. You know, it all depends on the weather.
right, I understand that. So you're saying that would be decided by when the pool was going, when the project was done, when it was being completed, when, okay. So it might be a high end, the high end is.
You might save a little bit of money there, but not much.
Mhm. So 4 foot at the splash pad, that's code, I would assume, 4 feet at the splash pad,
Yeah.
probably.
Did you for the public tell them where you are?
Excuse me?
Oh, well, I'm not keeping up. with this,
Oh,
so,
okay.
you're right.
She did say it was like, wow.
The thing that's missing in here is that, I don't see it, maybe not. The UV thing, is that in here somewhere? Am I missing it?
I don't believe it's in,
Okay,
that was $40,000.
okay, so that needs to be added in.
Well, I mean, you might, depending on how things go, you can make it into the contingency or add it.
Okay. The UV thing is something, Tim, that's not required by law now, but it seems to be that it's going to be, and that's how they keep the boats out of the water for, you know, germs, to keep it clean. That's something that they think is gonna be coming down the road, is required by law, so.
17 states have it required now.
So shouldn't it be included in the total cost.
Well, that's what I just said. I think it needs to be added onto the aquatics of the, under number 11, the UV, I don't know what you call it, a UV what?
The UV light, or
I would say you might want to add it, well, I mean, you could add it twice, right? It's for both splash pads, but I think you could make the splash pads. If you had one less feature, whatever you guys want to do. If you want to add 80,000, you can. If you want to
I would, because I'd rather have
have
it
it, the high.
accounted for, and then
Yeah.
if you leave on it, then we stabilize.
Okay, yeah, it's a philosophy thing.
Yeah.
And,
You
now,
did say 50 total last time with the electrical.
he
Oh,
said
I'm
50,
sorry,
and he
you're
said
right, you're
50 per ton.
Electrical.
Call it
Good
So
catch.
it'd be another.
100,000.
But
Okay.
a lot of people were very interested in that because people are worried about the cleanliness of the water and
Yeah.
splash pads. That's
sure,
something
yeah, you want to be clean, especially,
People really are concerned about.
Yeah,
You know.
especially with everything.
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good investment.
I think that's, yeah, goes without saying. Just, question. Oh, I know what I was gonna say, the removal of the, wading pool at Churchill. That's not in here. Is it? I don't think so.
There's no demolition in there.
Why?
Yeah, that's a pool facility.
Aren't you gonna take out the wading pool over there at that mill?
Probably not take it out, probably fill it. So I think the concrete is already included. It's gonna be
You think the concrete is included for what?
for the splash pad floor. To build a splash pad, you need a concrete floor.
Yeah.
So you place it inside the wading pool.
Mhm.
Is that what deck level recite?
Pardon me?
It says deck level recite?
That's probably what it is.
Research
Yeah,
and
because he
recycle.
talked about putting it inside.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that was
so
when he
I think it
was
is
describing
included.
But
Yeah.
the wading pool is smaller than the
And
size.
then you
of-
just expand out whatever design we pick, oval or L shaped or rectangle, whatever. You bang out the wall in the construction process and add concrete when you need it for the floor.
Mhm. And there was also some discussion about being able to maybe reuse some of what was up there, but if we're gonna just fill it with concrete, we're not gonna reuse any of what's up there, is that correct?
Reuse what?
I don't
the
know,
waiting pool.
like any of the filtration or any of that
I think
stuff.
I think the sources, water, electric and drainage sources will probably be evaluated and reused because it's gonna be right there. I don't think we're gonna use any of the old filtration systems that's for the wading pool, but just the source of the water, similar to on Garfield Street for this project, we know that the water and electricity and drainage is right here on Garfield Street, so it makes it a little bit less expensive to build here. That's the same idea that we're gonna use for the wading pool.
Okay, like I said, I'm not a plumber.
Yeah.
If you fill this up with concrete, how do you use the drainage system? I don't understand how that works.
Well, just the drain pipes, so there's from the filtrations, from the big Churchill house. Underground, we're bringing drain pipes, water pipes and electricity.
Mhm.
Those are the three things you need to run a splash pad at the wading pool.
Yep.
So because you don't have to bring that all there, you save a little bit.
So the little house that's up next to the wading pool at Churchill.
Yeah.
That would be demolished?
It probably will be gone, yeah. There's probably probably. Filtration system is in there.
Is it?
Just the waiting pool.
Yes, I understand. When I've been to visit the other splash pads, they always seem to have this little structure, whether it's a little house or some kind of shed or something that all the guts of the wading pool are in, of the splash pad are in.
In that price, you also have a 20 by 20 underground bubble that all the components will be in at Churchill. Here, it's cheaper to pipe it to the bathhouse in the new building.
Mhm.
And Mike figured that out, and so he said it's more economical to do it here this way, but at Churchill, So let me,
Explain to me this underground bubble thing, I don't get it.
what's that?
What do you, how, where are the controls gonna be?
Probably in the underground bubble, thing that, the Vortex sells this component that fits all the features into it underground. And it has
A lid.
a bubble lid that you pick up and you can work on it and operate it.
Oh, so it's not like,
It's not all underground.
I
There's
understand, like,
access.
why would you bury your controls? It makes no sense, you know? Okay, so I understand, it's like a
I don't know,
cover
it's
off
made
it,
for it, yeah, it's
okay.
made for it. It comes as, the whole recirculation system and filtration system comes calculated to the size that you need.
And is this underground bubble thing? How do you keep kids out of it? I'm not talking like the little kids or anything, I'm talking about kids at 10 o'clock at night, or 11 o'clock at night, or whatever.
I never got it. Key,
Yeah, it'll be fun.
yeah, I'm sure it'll be locked pretty tight.
Yeah.
You'll have cameras and stuff up there. He's gonna be manning them.
Cameras are coming, I don't know when they're coming, but they are coming from
Yeah.
IT
Good, okay,
and police.
oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so, well,
Eileen,
yes,
just a couple questions.
go ahead.
Just- I know I've seen this document a few times, but like if you look at it, like the total cost on like the first one says $22,000 and then total cost is 34,000. The difference between there is the soft cost, labor cost, right? Of doing
By
the actual
taxes too.
and taxes.
Yeah.
That's what the difference is between, it costs, well, that might not be a great example, but $22,000 to remove it. And then 34, what's the difference? What goes into that difference between?
Or-
22 and the 34.
Yes,
line
there
item
is.
are you talking
I'm just looking at
Okay.
the first
The
one.
demolition of the base.
So yeah, it says unit
Oh,
cost,
okay.
item cost, total cost. So the,
It's probably the fees to dispose of the material.
yeah, and I mean, we could do the same thing for, say, the bathhouse, where it's like the unit cost, item cost, and then the total cost is, there's a difference between that because of labor and.
I would think labor is a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's just the actual structure.
Right, that's what I was thinking, but I'm not sure everyone would decipher that if they just looked at this for the
Yeah.
first
The
time.
lawns are the same thing.
Right, layout
Right.
and striking, the difference, yeah,
Yeah, they're all yeah.
I think it's labor, yeah.
And then just one other question, we talked about it a little bit last time, so in aquatics 10 has
Mhm.
shade structure of 2.
Yeah.
And that was for the pool. Do we have to add more shade structures, because we talked about having shade structures in the splash pad at Mill? And then Churchill, I assume, would want some shade structures as well, or maybe?
Yeah, he in that $1 million price that Brian put in 2 giant shade structures at, I think off the top of my head, they might be 40,000 and to buy and 40,000 to install, so like 80 grand each. Is there a line item? for
Yeah,
that?
it says 20 for one.
20 is the unit cost and then the total cost for 2 is 40.
So,
So
But they're not
that's,
included
that,
for Churchill.
wait a second, is that, are you looking at the pool one or the?
So there's aquatics that
He's looking
says
at-
10
Oh,
shade
that's for the
structure
pool.
for 2, so
Yeah.
that's
Smaller.
smaller
Yeah.
at Mill.
Yeah.
The shade structures at Mill, the splash pad, where is that included anywhere in here? Because I don't see it, I only see 2.
I don't think we did a line item of the splash pad, we just came up with roughly $1 million for each one, and it included the 2 splash pads.
The
So
line,
two
the line item
two shade
includes the
structures.
shade structure.
So in aquatics for 9s, or.
Yeah.
That includes 2 shade structures for Mill.
For the pool.
For the pool.
No.
no.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
okay.
There's a line item for shade structures for the pool,
Right.
but the splash pad total, does that include? For Mill, does that include 2 straights? Shade structures.
770,000.
Yeah.
The number 9,
Number 9, the
In-
splash pad, deck level, recycle and recycle.
Came to like
It was
800,000.
like
77.
Yeah.
So,
That included park benches, the 2 picnic tables, the chest and checker, and the 2 shade structures.
Okay,
Then we should spell that out if we're
Yeah.
gonna present
Okay,
this to
at
somebody.
Churchill.
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
I think
yeah, I
that's
think
no
that would be
longer
good
C1.
to separate that out.
Me too.
You're
well, no,
saying-
that's for Mill.
It's for
Otherwise-
mill, yeah.
Oh, that's for Mill.
These 2 are for mill, yeah.
Yeah, that's just,
And then this Churchill's on its own here.
So there's only two streets.
Okay, we're not having public participation right now, we're
Sorry.
answering. Okay, so, right now,
I do have a question about this.
Yeah.
So if you're saying that if the shade structures are included in this figure right here, the 770,
yeah,
why is there now another line item for this?
Cool.
One's
Okay, you're right.
And the pool has smaller shade structures, the splash pads have big, larger ones.
okay. So when we make this presentation to council,
Yes.
can that be,
Sure. I could, yeah, with a little bit more time, I could
right, I understand,
break it down.
right, but,
And the
yeah.
splash pads kind of were, we could line item those also.
right, and I understand that part of that is gonna be our design of the
Yes.
splash pad itself.
Yep.
But in terms of, shade structures, that's gonna have to stay, that's like non-negotiable, we're not gonna like.
Yeah, I have
some-
it, I
so-
could get
Okay,
this
so
data,
as
yeah.
long as that's good for the, presentation to the council, speaking of the presentation to the council, is Mike gonna be able to come to do that?
When is it?
No, I don't
We
know.
haven't decided yet.
They haven't had them,
We should also spell out the difference between the item cost and the total cost. If it is labor, say that.
yeah,
Otherwise, if we don't understand it,
yeah,
The public's.
the council's not gonna understand it, but more importantly, the public's not gonna understand it, and then we're gonna have the same problem.
There should be another
Transparency,
column.
because you're-
There needs a labor column.
Yeah.
You're just, I think you probably have
But
one.
if it's
just
not clear,
showing.
clear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I
Gotcha.
can't,
I probably have it.
I'm gonna reach down to,
I
I mean, the first page is that,
I
okay.
actually have.
Yeah. I got it, okay, so, yeah, we're gonna need to have a little bit more,
Splash pad to be defined.
yeah, yeah, and so
By
just.
line item.
Yeah, and then maybe an extra column added that explains the difference between the unit and item cost and then the total cost at the end, which is, gets to be a good jump in some of these,
Yeah,
which
like the
we
back
all
office.
assume is labor. But,
Give me an example, I can't see it, obviously.
so, yeah, so for the baseball field, it says unit cost $22,000.
Yeah.
Item cost $22,000, total cost $34,203.
I'll ask him that, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, I would assume it's labor. I don't know. what
yeah, because the
back
bathrooms, I would assume that difference would be labor.
Usually, like, unit cost is the price is one, and then you want 5 of them, and then the total price.
Yeah, I get that,
So
but I don't.
it's goofy,
No.
no?
Read the bottom note. That's basically, these are their costs plus what then they add their profit and overhead and all that other stuff.
Right, but note that he should still have a line. item
But it
so
still
people
should
can
be
see.
in there. It
So
should
people
It
can
should be a top on the
Right,
top, not
so
the bottom.
people can see
Yeah.
that with
I didn't
the item
notice that
cost,
myself.
labor
Those are
equals
the
total
cool.
cost.
Oh, so he divided his soft costs.
Yep,
And
Right,
said
it's
it
his
is
soft
attributed
costs.
to that.
and his
Right.
profit, yeah,
I got, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
No, it totally does, but I do think.
yeah.
Okay, note number
It's a
2.
question.
We need to look at note number 2 as well on the back. That says hazardous materials abatement for a building or site is not included in the opinion of cost. So we need to keep that in mind. I suppose that's where the
That's where
contingency comes in, and I would imagine, given when that bathhouse was built.
Yeah.
That's fine. Pretty in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
there might be some, but I don't believe there's gonna be a lot because we worked on it so much. And we put down a lot of stuff already. So I don't think there's gonna be a lot of big surprises.
Okay. All right. All right, what number again? This is 23 July. Okay, so D, soft play area, that's your area with, and
That's what preschool.
yes, and that's just the area, that's nothing to go inside the area, correct?
Correct. We would either use what we have and
Yeah.
find some things.
And with what kind of, ground cover?
It would be the Surface America rubber surface that we've been installing in every playground. It's just safer. It's minimal maintenance and you don't get lawsuits from it because the wood chips don't move around, the rubber stays in place.
And what does the chlorine do to that?
It's pretty resilient to it, but I hope that there's not gonna be too much chlorine over there because it's gonna be separated. Probably gonna be used for different purposes. The preschool kids could use it as during the day, and they'll be in sneakers probably.
They won't be swimming? They won't be using the pool?
They'd be changing probably.
Before they came to the playground.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You use it separate.
And that would be locked off at night and on the weekends?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a
Yes.
question on that.
Yeah.
The soft play area, I'm just trying to understand how that fits into the pool. Like, it seems almost separate a little.
Yeah, well, there's a state law that says by your Department of Early Childhood that we have to have 75 square feet per kid in for the preschool. And we have it there now, but that's gonna be moved, so I have to replace it. You know, and if you don't have the facility outside, then you can't have a preschool. We have like 36 kids in, Harold Dade Mount. So we thought that we would encourage that area to be used for adults at nighttime in the summer for VIP section kind of thing, where you might have a party or something going on while the concert on a Thursday night like tonight is going on, or maybe during the extravaganza or something like that. So we kind of tied it together because there'd be no other ability to redo the playground at the same time.
And it's not needed for the camps or anything like that? That's not a mandate? Just preschool?
Well, we have a summer sizzlers, summer sunshine camp. We call it a camp.
Yeah.
But it's for 3 to 5 year olds during the summer. And that goes for 9 weeks. And then the other weeks are licensed by the state of Connecticut from September to June. And we call that a preschool camp also. So I'm not sure about your.
I was thinking the camp recreate, like. the
Oh,
kids have-
Camp Recreate can use the big playground. And the reason why is the Department of Early Childhood, when there's a body of water, it must be totally fenced in for safety purposes.
And you kind of said something interesting, the VIP thing, so we would charge extra, kind of like one of the gazebos or something for people to rent that out?
Oh, no, I didn't think that. I thought more like, say the board wanted to view the fireworks, or the town council wanted to view the fireworks, or you have a function at the pool, you have a flick and float at the pool, and then all the adults come over and have grinders or something, or pizza, that kind of thing. It's wide open still for imagination and ideas.
Yeah, I was just thinking maybe there could be a revenue source there.
Yeah.
We can pay for it, so.
We could charge the town council, right?
Yeah, you
Maybe
can.
not.
I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare.
You could try.
You could try.
I have a question. What event was last year, or the year before, that people paid a premium to sit inside? What was that for?
That was for the Irish Day.
Irish Day.
Oh, yeah.
Remember you had,
That was a few years ago.
right,
Yeah.
so they paid extra to sit in this area. You could do the same thing
Yeah, it
for
just,
that.
it could be revenue.
A fundraiser, yeah,
Yeah.
we could, yeah, didn't go that far yet with it. I can tell you this though, during September to June, we can't do that because you can't use it at night or on weekends. Because the state thinks that broken glass or something, bad needles and stuff would be left there and not supervised. And the preschool kids would come in Monday morning and get hurt. So,
Makes sense.
but in the summer, we're not licensed by the state early childhood. And we have our own Parks and Recreation Summer Sunshine, so there's a little bit more flexibility in the summer. If you can understand.
Eventually, aren't you gonna have to be licensed by the state? Isn't that like one of the whole things about having a nurse and all that other?
They talk about that for the summer camps.
Yeah,
I haven't heard Gary Turco tell me about preschool yet,
okay.
but it's possible. You know, who knows what legislation is gonna
But
be.
it's a preschool camp, isn't it, really? Because it's not a preschool and nursery school.
Yeah.
Because it's not licensed, so it is a camp in the summer. And if you were going to use it, I'm just looking at what's over there now. What would you do with everything that's there now to make room for big people to be in there? There's a lot of stuff over
They
there.
probably move it in and out. You know, if it's, you're only talking maybe 6 or 8 special events,
Yeah.
that's easy.
Maybe that's not in there. That's a playhouse that's in somebody else's, right? The brown one?
No, it's there.
That's in there.
The big tall brown one
Yeah.
that's on
Yeah.
stilts?
Yeah.
No kidding. That's
Purple
pretty
stilts.
cool.
You're right.
Yeah. You're right, it's deceiving, but it's there.
Yeah, it looks like maybe it's in somebody else's backyard on the other side of the road. Oh, interesting. Cool. All right. Okay, so we looked at the soft play area. And the van shell and all of that is not part of phase one, so we're not looking at that. So the next thing that we're looking for is E1, the demo of the old pool. E1. That doesn't make any sense.
No, they're gonna make any sense.
No, that's not correct. Demo of the old pool.
Oh, no, that is, that's part of E1, yeah, right here.
Yeah.
Ban shell. It's E1, it's the ban shell. 209.
Gotcha. You're looking at the wrong one. Oh, it's because there's two E's. That's
Yeah.
why.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
so we gotta go back to preschool, everyone's occupation.
Yeah, okay. So this does, talk about this, the demolition of the old pool facility gives us a figure of 209,000, but that's only if there's no hazmat found, so. Question, I don't know what else to say.
And that's what you'll pick up, if you get rid of the bathhouse, there's 20,000 square feet of open grass that we can't use because of the pool, between the pool and the pond. So that will be all opened up too. So that whole area will be wide open for, public use and picnicking or blankets and things like that. So,
So the only thing that's used for now is like kids that go fishing.
yeah, it's pretty overgrown too, so.
Yeah.
It'll be more of a lawn, a nice grass lawn, maintained by mowers.
Mhm. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so the rest of that E and the second E. Oh, the other E is the concessions, the toilet building, the existing building and all of that. That is not included because it's not part of the pool, right?
Right.
So this is not included in our, this E is not included in our thing. And then N, soft costs, so, and, okay, so the site survey, that didn't cost any money, huh? Interesting.
It is.
It's probably part of two.
Or it could have been already.
We did.
Isn't it paid for?
Yeah,
It was
we
paid
did.
for.
Actually,
Paid
we did it.
$15,000
Yeah, I
for
thought it was paid for.
Bonavita, or
Yeah.
Bonavita,
Oh, I
Giovanna.
thought that was already done.
That was a long time ago, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
But surveys
surveys are.
stay the same.
Yeah.
all right, and the architectural and engineering. Geotechnical analysis, utility markings,
Geotech we did already.
yeah, yeah. So this is already done.
With utility markings. Well, geotech, they still have 25,000.
Yeah, in case
Bases.
we need it, we may not need it.
Okay. How come no utility markings? There's no fee for utility markings, because they just do that anyway, right?
Usually
Before
they-
you dig.
Yeah, call before you
Yeah,
dig.
yeah. And then the wetlands flagging says $7,000. I had a question. Do we have to go before, I know we have to go before TPZ. Do we have to go before wetlands?
We don't think so. We think that we're outside the buffer of 100 feet from the pond, so. That was another advantage of being on Garfield Street here, is we're out of the MDC easement and we're out of the wetlands. So I think we would just have to flag it just to make sure and prove to people and then photograph it.
I was trying to look at a map tonight before I came in. It was hard to figure, but it almost looked like it could be placed, you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be close, but not in it.
And if we do have to go to wetlands, is that a big deal?
I don't believe it will be. No.
No. Send you.
Well, we would send Mike.
No, we already get it done. Okay, and the phase one and phase two environmental analysis. Do we have to pay for the whole $40,000 out of that, out of our budget? Is that a half of phase one and a half of phase two, or how's that gonna work out?
I don't know exactly the answer to that. I can find that now. What's it say, 40 grand for both phases?
For both.
Yeah,
That was the wetland thing?
Yeah,
Yeah, probably, I'm just gonna guess now, but a large amount in phase two was in the wetlands, we were gonna put, paths,
mhm,
walkways, nature trails for the
yeah,
seniors and little kids.
yes,
And-
and environmental analysis.
Yeah,
Make sure that-
I suspect a lot of that was gonna be over there, but I could double check with Mike.
Okay.
I don't think there's too many environmental issues over here.
Unless you're on open space, I mean, you're gonna get those guys all.
Organic.
Like, so. In terms of open space, we're at 12,000 more, is that correct? Okay, and. Is that gonna pass through TPV, you think?
I have no idea. Yeah,
Because part of their charges has to do with maintaining open space.
well, again, remember we talked about the way you described open space. If you move the fence in or out, on the lawn things that we're talking about, the $40,000 for grass, that will determine if you wanna make it less or more. In my opinion, you want the most lawn space for parents to put their blankets out or their chaise lounges and relax, so, I don't know if the TPZ or wetlands or anybody would consider the grass around the pool as not open space. It's kind of open space, just, it has a security fence
Yeah,
around it.
fence line, yeah.
Yeah, so it all depends on how you define open space.
Right,
Yeah, I mean,
we would consider it open
I can
space.
tell you, my husband would consider it as somebody that's on TPC.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, that's,
Open space.
it's parkland.
Mike does too.
Exactly,
That's,
exactly what
that's
it
how
is.
they.
Yeah.
it's considered.
Okay, yeah, all right,
it's just not a building, it's not a structure.
Yeah.
okay. All right, so. Cost, well. All right, we went through all of that, and,
So,
all right,
can I ask a question?
yes,
Because you were talking about meeting, not Monday, the meeting previous,
yes.
the streetscape improvements, the crosswalks and stuff. So how is that gonna work if that's not part of phase one? What are they gonna do?
It's kind of in the process right now,
Okay,
so I suspect it's almost gonna match up beautifully. So.
so, but
It's not in our costs.
it's not in our cost.
Oh, no,
There's
no,
a grant.
no, we got a grant in
Oh.
2017.
Right, but that, so the solar lighting signals and stuff like that is all part of that grant.
And sidewalks on that side,
So really,
and Garfield, and parking at the library.
okay, so L could really just go away.
What's else, what is this?
Streetscape improvements.
Oh, no, I think he's gonna make decorative signage like in this path going in here. He's gonna have some kind of arch so that it looks attractive when people come in. I think he's still gonna do some stuff that will be more on the landscape idea. But different than this grant that we talked about.
Park entrance signs, yeah.
So where is that included in the budget?
It's in phase two, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
It's not in phase
I
one.
think it's in phase two.
Okay, I'll ask him about that.
yeah, because I don't think we should wait
What was it, 17,000?
for what, for the park entrance signs?
Yeah.
9,300.
93.
And the light poles, it says, 55.9,
That might be part of this.
yeah, that might
Yeah, it
be
is.
part of the
It's all on
streetscape, but
tickets.
we're also gonna need lights at the pool as well, correct?
Oh, security lighting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all included, I would
Yeah,
assume.
that's
in
it.
the- Yeah. And. Oh, you're all pointed this one. They gotta be pointed away from the houses, right?
What's that?
The security lighting should be all pointed
Of
toward
course, yeah, yeah.
the pond rather
Yeah,
than.
we looked into,
Somebody's
I wanted
backyard.
to, I wanted in the beginning to try to have nighttime swimming and stuff, but it became astronomical. So I think I remember $500,000 to $750,000 more because the requirements to have lighting, it has to meet the bottom of the pool.
Oh.
It becomes a real safety
Yeah,
issue.
give that.
Yeah, so it wasn't worth it.
Was a good idea.
Yeah, it was a try.
No, it's hard even, October, sometimes you have to move the guard coming in another spot just because the glare on the water gets to be so different that you can't see it. It's not an easy thing. Yeah, so lighting is included in there somewhere. Hmm. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about lighting in the pool or under aquatics. It's just assumed to be in there.
So what's the depth of the deepest part of the pool? That recorded for,
Let's see, 11.6 is the regulation, 12 feet in the deep end of the diving board.
And as far as phase 2 goes, the time estimate on that one.
Never. Yeah, I wouldn't even open that can of worms.
Yeah, so we're never gonna do phase 2, right? Because that's something people are logically gonna ask next.
Yeah, I have no plans whatsoever to do phase 2 because it doesn't appear that the town has the funding or the appetite for it. Unless I guess if we got some kind of $1 million grant or something, that'd be kind of cool.
Well, some of the things are gonna have to be done, like the parking and all of that stuff, and, we've mentioned something about the walking trails.
No, we would not. Nope, no, zero.
Okay,
Next question, if we put it over here in Garfield, would we have to move that exercise equipment that's there?
that's phase 2.
That was gonna be phase 2. We were gonna move it to do the basketball courts and the tennis courts.
This one here, so like, maybe we
Oh, you mean this one right here?
close one.
Yeah, we probably would get rid of that, yeah.
and the Saputo one would stay where it is?
I think so. It all depends on how it looks
After you do.
once we take the building out of there.
Thanks, just
And,
like a
Yeah.
lost child.
we never had a really, permanent discussion about the concession stand over there. I know if we kept it, that makes sense. If we were going to take it down, does it make sense to take it down when the bathhouse is coming down? Or, I mean, I don't know what anybody wants to do. I don't know what your feelings are about that. I think there's, it serves a purpose certain times a year. It's nice to have bathrooms over there, like real working toilets.
It's nice to have a concession.
I think it makes sense to keep
I do
it.
too.
That's my
And
opinion.
then you have storage too.
Yeah,
as
it just
well.
gives you an option over there
Yeah.
and people need it.
Yeah, it's not like the camp kids are gonna use it because they're gonna be on this neck of the woods.
Right.
No, but still, there's so many kids that go to the playground, there's people
Right,
on the
right,
floor.
especially on the
you know.
weekends.
And they can walk down there
Yeah.
if they're
Yeah.
going during the day or whatever, so yeah.
And the playground families use it and tennis people use it, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Plus, we just put so much money into it. I'd hate to waste that. It's usable right now.
Mhm.
On that note, though, there is some sheds over there now. Would those stay?
Those are probably all gotta go, unfortunately, or not thrown away, but reused somewhere else, yeah.
Sheds by,
The
By the
concession
course?
stand?
You're between the pool house
And the concession.
and the concession stand, we just put in one of those barnyard or.
Oh, yeah.
You see them on TV, whatever, barn something. But they're really helpful. We put our stuff, tables, chairs, we have a train in there with one of the Connex boxes. And then we have, the golf carts are in the garage of the, concession stand. So we really do utilize it. We're gonna have to reevaluate everything once things go forward.
Mhm. Okay, so we're not gonna even work on that one. The rest of it seems to be. Over on the other side. Yeah. Picnic area, is that just over by the,
On the way to the soccer field.
We were gonna put some pavilions and picnic stuff on the other side of the pond.
Yes, but there's also a picnic area by the playground as well.
Picnic area near the playground.
Yeah, there's picnic areas.
We're not gonna add any.
No, but it's, they're staying,
Yes.
yes.
It just, something was said that we only looked at 3 spots. We actually, the second committee, I think under John Donahue's, regime, he wanted to also see if we could move the pool to the south side of the pond. And for those of you who don't know, Mike and I, we geotech and dug holes over there also and found that the water table was too high and it wouldn't be feasible. We couldn't fit the footprint over there without getting into the wetlands, because the wetlands are almost where we shoot the fireworks. It's deceiving over there. We do cut the grass, but it's still in the wetlands buffer area, so we had no room to put it there. We tried very hard.
The only other question I have, because I know it's gonna come up and we might as well address it now. If the pool, well, when the pool ends up at, on Garfield Street and the other one is taken down and whatnot, what's extravaganza gonna look like? Because I've seen it asked a million times.
Cause you what?
I've seen it asked a million times.
Over the-
Yeah, we took aerial shots of the Life Being Extravaganza. We measured all the square footage of everything. And we're gonna do it again, take pictures of this year's and give them to Mike, but Mike has fitted in a good way. Now, when there's construction, maybe it all depends. Like, we might start construction the week after the extravaganza, whatever year this happens. So you could go, we could almost build a pool and a splash pad in a year almost, but don't hold me to it because weather has a lot, winters have a lot to do with it. But there's a chance that all the big construction vehicles will be out of here and might not affect the extravaganza too much at all. But if it does, we certainly have seen us move the arts and crafts booths, which we have 100 of them, to the parking lot over here. We're also talked about our parks and recreation staff today talked about maybe having a 2-day arts and crafts festival in the gym with air conditioning and make it more like a Friday, Saturday event. So there's all kinds of ideas, but I think listen, the last guy in the world that's gonna wreck the Life Being Extravaganza is me. So it doesn't make sense for us not to, but we're gonna have to be
Creative.
bigger thinkers. Yeah, we have to think outside the box and make things work. Just like we did for the craft beer night, it was so darn wet. We moved it to the basketball court. Everyone said, "Oh, it'll never be good," and everyone loved it.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and then we said we moved the arts and crafts over here, and everyone said, "Oh my God, this is great over here. Keep it here." But the vendors didn't like it, right? They didn't make as much money during those hours. So we take. I know people don't think we take a lot into consideration, but we do. We think about every single people that are affected by stuff, and we go through it. The bands don't like the arts and crafts over here, but there's positives and negatives to everything. And hopefully we can make most people happy. That's the goal.
You're not gonna make 30,000 residents, no matter
No,
what, you're not gonna make
no, we
everybody.
keep trying though. We keep trying.
I know.
So-
Unfortunately.
The carnival would be in the.
More of the middle of the, kind of moving towards the middle. Basically where we had the hot air balloon circle, probably
Yeah.
there is gonna be the carnival issue.
Thank you. Okay, so where the
East
hot
is
air
the
balloon,
center.
yes, that's.
So close to the
I
back.
thought
Oh.
Closer to the beer tent. They're doing cornhole right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So that leaves plenty of green space for people to sit and come and do their thing.
Now, and again, it depends on what happens with the bathhouse. You're gonna pick up a whole bunch of open space all the way down the hill. Depending on how the pitch of that hill is, there might be flat areas where you could do arts and crafts there. And where the pool is now, that's a lot of space also. So you could do a whole bunch, if that's flat, there's a whole bunch of things that can go on. You can actually move the beer garden there if you wanted to. Which would probably be, not a bad idea either, because it's on that side of the path, but who knows, it all depends on the time of year and the time of construction and how it looks. But
Okay. All right, so if we reviewed, does anybody have any other questions? Okay, so we reviewed the recommendations to the council, that would be this, we need to have some sort of visual to go along with that. Timeline and voting questions,
Okay, I just asked a question.
yes,
So this is gonna be updated though, including the UV,
yeah,
Yeah,
the more specific of,
In the splash pad.
yes,
exactly.
Line item.
Yeah, yeah, break everything out.
okay.
Okay.
That'll work. And we're gonna need something that's a visual to present with it, not just a list of figures, but a visual of like what the shape of the pool is, or the concept of the pool is looking like, and what the concept of the splash pads might look like. This is what a splash, you know, just those four designs, something like that.
And the pictures that we sent of the pool already, that's not good enough. You wanted, what did you want from that?
No, I think that there has to be, when we make a presentation to the council, they need to see that picture. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
not just numbers, they just need to
Oh.
see a picture, that's all, just some,
Sure, yeah.
some little.
Exhibits to each of
Yeah.
them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, some
Each of them.
little.
We're not producing something new.
No, I think it's already been presented, and I think it's already made, but.
And I think same thing for the playground. I think he can come up with something conceptual. So you just have like an exhibit for soft play area, so council knows
Yeah.
what soft play area is all
Yeah.
about.
Yes, so that,
I think the more visual we give the council,
Okay.
yes.
it'd be more advantageous to us.
Okay.
And to the public.
Okay. As far as the timeline and the voting questions, there's still a lot up in the air. Much of this is going to fall on the council to decide what they want, what they're looking for.
Can you talk about, I mean, I know voting is here. Can you talk about how that would work with absentee ballots and early voting?
Well, as far as I can figure, I've spoken with James and I've spoken with, well, Matt Ford spoke with people at the Secretary of State's office to figure this all out. It all depends on whether what the timeline looks like, if we get this on a one ballot or a two-page ballot thing. It's pretty squishy. But again, that's gonna be a decision of the council to make. That's not our, they want to caucus on it first. So
Who wants the caucus on it? They meaning.
the council.
Well, not you,
you know,
all
caucus
of us,
on-
but-
which-
The caucus is one side, not the other side.
I'm sorry.
Both sides want
the
to
council will have a discussion.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine. It's like-
Meeting of the,
That's not how it's working currently, so.
hopefully there will be a meeting of the greatest minds in this town and they will figure something wonderful out. How about that? So. Lost my little piece of paper. Okay, what James had said to me was that if you are going to early vote, you may not be able to vote on the referendum because unless it's ready to go. We don't know whether it's going to be ready to go or not. They're not supposed to, referendum doesn't guarantee early voting, only voting on a ballot is what's guaranteed. So you might have to go vote early, go over to the town clerk's office, ask for a ballot that says, I want the ballot on the referendum for an absentee ballot. And then you take that and you get it and you fill it out and you go that way.
You go by your house ballot.
If you are absentee balloting, James says you'll have to request not only your absentee ballot to vote for an elected official, but you would have to also have to ask for a ballot for the referendum question. So you would have to ask for two separate ballots. Pretty difficult. And that's a lot to explain to the public. It gets very confusing. It's the first time that we've had early voting and it could mess the whole thing up for people for years to come. They would say this process sucks, you know, so it's kind of hard. The Secretary of State gave us some numbers that the council has in terms of dates, but we have to remember that we would send this to council. It would have to be new business. And then there'd have to be a public hearing. There has to be 5 days probably a week at the rate you're going, because it has to be, for a public hearing, because it has to be posted in paper, and there really isn't a paper posted in other than like the reminder of it, maybe the current, yeah. Yeah, so, but that's kind of hidden. You really kind of want to have it in a rare reminder for people to know, so you're not, so we're being transparent. There's that word again. We want people to know. So it'll probably be a week, maybe 10 days. Depends on how, how the council meetings fall. It has to go to TPZ, probably for 2 meetings. One is new business, one is old business. We don't know whether it has to go to wetlands, probably not.
But TBC doesn't have to, it can go in conjunction with, it doesn't, you don't need that to go to referendum.
Yeah, you go simultaneously.
Yeah, it all
Well, as long
happens
as the, doesn't the council have to do the referral
Yes,
to TPZ?
Yeah.
So there's a meeting there for the referral,
Right.
41 to
There's
2.
no deadline for the TBC.
right. So, and then we don't know about wetlands, but we're thinking that. And then it has to go to bond council, and nobody's really saying how long that's gonna take, because it's summer and we don't know who's on vacation or what's going on with that. So that's kind of like with the point. And then, that the language has to be approved by the council, so that's yet another meeting.
Does the town have, did the town hire a law firm?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
So that has multiple lawyers.
Yes.
So they're not all taking vacations. They're going
No.
out.
South Dakota Bond Council. is a
Yeah, but you don't
separate-
know.
Bond Council is a separate lawyer, understand?
For,
It's
not
good.
for that, in that company,
No, it's supposed to be, no, separate,
Separate.
separate firm.
totally
Okay,
separate.
But I mean,
outside.
it's a professional firm that's gonna
Yeah.
have someone to be able to do it. I mean,
Right, as long as,
Right.
as long as the bond attorney, the one that specializes in bonds.
Yeah.
Is there.
Yeah.
right. So we don't know, we don't know. Is that gonna be a week? Is that gonna be 2 weeks? Or is that gonna be, we don't know. So flip a coin on that one, and then you have to come back and have the council approve it. And
So
we don't know if there's a meeting in August canceled or not. We don't know. We don't know. That's up to
They want to do at least one.
Yeah,
I'm not a
okay.
big fan of it, to be honest, but
we usually cancel one.
We should
Yeah.
cancel
Yeah.
one.
Now, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yes,
James never sent us the dates. He only sent the council the dates. We never got
I
dates either.
I don't, we have no.
I know, 'cause remember we had asked.
Yeah, but I think there's still so much
I,
gray area.
I don't think the dates that he
Yeah,
sent
but
out.
It's all kind of
Yeah.
crazy
No.
right now.
I still think he should give us dates of
He thinks it is.
when he thinks it's bond council that really gives us the firm dates of how it
Yeah.
goes. So bond council really needs to get involved to give us those dates, because that's usually how it works. So we have the dates up front.
I have asked James several times. James told us your responsibility, this is what he told me, is to work on a pool proposal. Don't worry about the date.
But we
That's
need to
not
worry
your
about-
concern.
but
And
we
I was
do.
like, of course we need to worry
We
about
need
the
to worry
date.
about the
Yeah.
dates, because if we want this to go to referendum, we need to know what our drop dead date is.
Right,
If we are gonna say, you know what, let's wait and maybe go to referendum in March or whatever, and do a separate referendum after we have a full discussion, then that's a totally different discussion that we're gonna have around this table.
correct.
So the dates are extremely important for us to know. Even if they're estimated, we need to have some sort of dates.
I agree. I got shot down twice.
Did you guys get an actual copy of did anybody, did you?
No, there's a, and we asked for,
Yeah.
I received,
That's crazy.
soft dates from Jamie, but I didn't do anything with them because they're not official. So I didn't think it would be, I don't want us to
I'm
work
FYI.
off of.
I have received no dates from any.
Yeah,
and you should share them with him.
But
Yeah.
they, one side can stay.
well, you weren't on the committee when you said it.
Yeah, so you should share with the other one, so
Yeah.
even if,
Fine.
even if.
Yeah, I didn't want us to start making plans off of something that wasn't official and then we get official and they're different dates. I didn't want to do that to us.
Those are extremely important, even if
Yeah.
they're estimated.
Yeah, it has to be 5 days in the paper. So that was the other thing that he told me today. It had to be 5 days in the paper. So
What did he say last meeting?
Are they kind of voters?
He was like talking so fast with dates.
I know, I couldn't even keep
I
up.
couldn't follow either. I was trying
I couldn't do
to.
You got better secretary skills and all this. You do shorthand?
No, I'm not a secretary.
No, but you know how to take notes, right? You know how to write fast when somebody's talking on the phone and all that good stuff, I don't know.
Are we
Right,
meeting
like a
next
snap.
week? We're not meeting next week, right?
No, we don't.
Can I do a point of order on the dates?
You're so weird.
Your register of voter probably would have a very good idea, so why don't you talk to the register of voters? Because they know so much about the timelines.
I went to the Secretary of State's office just because I thought that was like,
Okay,
ask the Queen to.
conceptual by July 9th, bond council by July 23rd. Public hearing August 13th, or for the new business for scheduled public hearing on 13th, public hearing on the 26th of August. September 5th completed to Secretary of State, normal advertising October 6th to 16th, ballots October 4th to October 8th. So conceptual July 9th, which was Tuesday. According to this.
Yeah, and I think, you know,
That's to be on the presidential ballot.
Correct.
Yeah.
correct. Right, so,
Which may, I guess,
And bond
even
council-
myself, I don't think anybody's gonna go. Or anybody's gonna get a vote for it. So, I mean,
you don't think
Yeah.
anybody's gonna be voting in the
being
presidential
being on the
election?
ballot may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have a
Everybody,
point.
everybody I talk to, they're not voting. because it
I have a lot of people that are.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Um,
I didn't do.
It's scary, I know. None of the above, I don't know.
I understand.
It's hard.
so I don't know if they're even gonna make even a standalone ballot.
I think we'll make a sample.
I think you could do
I
that.
think that's,
we'll make it
but a
sample.
standalone ballot is gonna be very cumbersome for the town clerk and the registrar of voters to figure out who voted by absentee ballot, who early voted, who's gonna come in. I just think
It's very, I think it's
it
very
is-
confusing for the voters.
It's gonna be extremely confusing.
I think it's our responsibility as a committee to focus on what we need to do, and that is right now, we need to get this together and get it out of here, because then the council is gonna have the ability to do what they wanna do once they've talked and they figure out. And it's really on them to really do this process. So I kind of think, we don't know, clearly, we
Well,
don't know what.
But
We know what this was, but we also heard from the Secretary of State's office, some of these dates aren't exactly right either.
Correct.
So I think we really it's incumbent upon,
But we need to know what our deadline is to get conceptual.
our deadline was this Tuesday, so, which is why we need to get going.
The quicker you get it to the council, you let them make the
Exactly,
decisions in the dates and all they wanna do. Our job is to get this project to them and then let the people say what they wanna do.
But I mean, if this goes to not next week, but the week after, is that, I think it's prudent that we know what the dates are. So we know if we need to have any further meetings or whatever to move it to the council. Because today's, whatever today is, the 11th. Next week, we're not having meetings. And now we're talking about the week of the 22nd. So now we're already 2 weeks past the July 9th date. That's where I'm going with. If that July 9th date with conceptual is a true date. That's why I think it's definitely prudent for us to know dates.
Do you want me to read it off now? I just emailed that just now.
What, what you heard
What
from
what I
Matt?
received from James.
Yep, go ahead.
So,
Is it just in an email? Can we read it?
all right, yeah, let me answer. Yeah, I just forwarded it to my personal email.
Sure, we're doing this right. We're doing we're moving the right project, we're moving the right numbers to the council. And if we have to rush and vote on something tonight, I don't think we might need something next week.
I think we should meet next week, even if it's I just think we should meet next week.
Monday.
Monday, I think we should meet Monday.
Oh, I can't do it.
Oh, it's Monday, your day.
We have a meeting at 6 o'clock.
Oh.
Tuesday, there's a chance, I think Don was in agreement to cancel our Parks and Recreation Board meeting.
I could do it Tuesday, so we could have this one? Yeah,
That's fine.
that sounds
That's
good.
fine. I could do that.
I can definitely do that.
Oh, do you have council on?
Yeah, I don't
Thursday?
have council.
Yeah.
Available. I think the goal would be to get it to the council and let them make all their decisions. I don't think we have to anticipate what they're gonna be.
But we need to know our drop dead date of when we.
I think our drop dead date was, we gotta move on it. It's clear that you have to do it now, kind of, right?
So it's saying
That's why-
July 23rd, so we do have to meet next week.
We have to meet next week.
Yeah.
That's, that's why it was important to know, so we do have to meet.
Totally.
Can you forward all this?
I did.
You did.
Thank you.
These are subject to change, obviously.
Yes.
At least there's something.
Is this for to get on the presidential or to be a separate ballot?
Presidential decision. This is November referendum, so there's only one column.
Would you mind reading it?
Oh, yeah.
Town council regular meeting, at a regular meeting, town council introduces authorization for appropriations, bonding referendum date in question. No discussion of the authorization is to occur at meeting. In addition, town council approves by at least 5 votes the date, place, and purpose of the public hearing. That's gonna be done at their meeting on July 23rd.
Okay.
Notice of public hearing. Notice of time, place, purpose of the public hearing, text of bond resolution is published in daily newspaper having circulation within town and on the town bulletin board and town's website at least 5 days prior to public hearing. That's no later than 8/8. Public hearing and town council authorization. At regular meeting, town council holds public hearing. At least 5 members of council vote to authorize appropriation, issuance of bonds, and submission of bond issue to referendum no later than 60 days prior to the date of referendum, November 7th. Town council also authorizes by resolution preparation and printing of explanatory text of referendum questions approved for submission to voters at which non-advocacy restrictions are triggered. That's 8/13. Oh, there's more.
8/13, okay.
Informational mailer to printer. Printing of informational mailer can occur once authorized by town council. That's after 8/13. Publication effectiveness of bond authorization. That's also 8/13. Submission of referendum question, town clerk submits it to the Secretary of State at least 45 days prior to the date of referendum, no later than 9/20. Notice of referendum has to be published in the newspaper between 10/25 and 10/31. A town clerk to prepare and present absentee ballots shall be available to ballot applicants beginning on the 31st day before an election, work day is such Saturday, whatever, no later than 10/4. And then the vote would be 11. When's the election?
5.
5.
Yeah,
That seems
that's
possible.
actually,
Yeah.
it is possible.
Yeah.
If
When
we
is-
move, we gotta meet next week.
Yeah, we do have to meet next.
When is
Thursday.
early voting?
I'll put it on.
When's early voting?
I won't even worry about
The
it right now.
14th? No,
Yeah,
I'm
it
just trying to
starts
see
2
where it
weeks
fits
ahead.
in.
I think it's the 14th. I
Well,
think
it's
you're
the
right.
14th, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
So
trying
we
to
do
see
have
what
to
fits
meet.
in, that's all.
If we want
I
to refill
can tell you right now, so James texted me, he goes, the 7/23 date is bond language intro, not your project presentation. He goes, those dates are way off. Is what he
These are the
texted.
ones that came from the Secretary of State's office, right?
No, I wanna say, no, these are the ones that came from
That
James.
James did?
Yeah,
Well, then,
Then why is he
why,
saying?
let's
Okay.
meet next week and do what we
Yeah.
need to do.
Yeah.
Because this.
Because if you
this
said,
is like-
James just texted you, said these dates are off, and you just said you got those from James,
well, that's why I said the shop dates.
but he just said they were right.
Well, yeah. No, that's why, and I told you the subject is
Or
changed.
Jamie or James.
James.
Okay, so Tuesday, or is it 6:30 we're gonna do?
Could do 6.
I do 6, what about you? Because you work, I know you work, are you the only, you work too?
Yeah, but I can make it, it's fine.
Hold on, I was
It's
thinking
you,
you
it's
said-
daycare.
And you have daycare.
I work too.
Yeah, sorry.
Work and
You
daycare.
you work from home too?
Sometimes.
Okay, because
Lauren gave me the date, sorry, just to clarify. I'm not trying to. put James-
So Lauren did this, those dates.
Yeah,
Wait,
Lauren.
those dates. Okay, thank you.
I'm not trying to throw James.
No, 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 no. So wait, so we're talking about the 16th, correct? I can do 6.
What time are you available?
Is that okay for
6
you?
would be fine.
6 o'clock? Okay.
That's fine for me.
You're okay for 6 o'clock?
I'll try.
We,
Okay.
16th.
we have to make sure we have a Zoom meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know how to do it.
Well, hey, he
I know.
knows
I
how
know
to do
how to
it.
do it.
Need to have emails in.
Every time.
Yeah, maybe I'll prep up a little bit more.
Okay, so we must have Zoom. That
Okay.
makes sense. All right, do this. 16th at 6 o'clock. All
Let me
right.
see, Jeff.
Great. All right, excellent. All right, so,
There's a price there.
So,
so is that our
who
next
does
step?
know the right dates then?
I think they're still trying to figure it out with the secretary of
Yeah.
state right now.
I know they reached out today. to the
Yeah,
Secretary of
Matt.
State.
Yeah, Matt was.
We're lucky
supposed to-
Matt works there, so he could just.
Yeah, so I don't know if Matt sent me the list yet.
Well, and you know what? We checked, early on, we were looking at how early voting affected anything in terms of some of those back dates, and
Yeah.
they said it didn't affect it at all. Which is why now this is interesting,
Yeah, that
because it's
looks like
not
it is
what the
affecting.
first message had been, so,
Okay.
and that was the Secretary of State's office.
So
That's
what
okay.
I got from Matt today was 9/5 was the deadline for the town to approve the ballot question and language. 9/20 was the deadline for the town clerk to transmit the question language to the Secretary of State for any ballot. And then he went back and asked further questions about early voting and absentee ballot voting, but I was working the grill at the time, cooking my dinner, and I didn't write it down, so I asked him to email it to me, but I haven't gotten it yet, or text it to me, whatever, I don't think I've got either one, so.
So the goal would be, is to get this to council so it gets on their agenda for.
And let them work it out.
Yeah.
Whatever, 28th.
It's their deal,
23rd,
yeah.
23rd.
I don't think I got it. Just make sure. Okay, so, all right, so we're on for Tuesday, the 16th at 6 o'clock. All right, what's left here?
AJ, you could do the Zoom again?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't mind.
Now you have a full-time job.
That's okay.
Bill, if you're gonna be able to get all we have the detail, that's for asking.
I'm gonna try to call Mike tomorrow morning and get him to give us the line items best he can for the splash pad. And then I'll ask him to give us a third line of what
Yeah.
the difference is of that extra money or whatever.
And-
The unit cost as it extrapolates out.
Yeah, and we were looking for something else to be added in,
Yeah.
the cost of the
Oh, the UV,
UV.
yeah. Could you write that down? I only guess in case.
I'll send you an email. on
Yeah,
it.
that'd be great.
Okay, so. So kind of timeline and voting, also, what are our next steps? Our next step is our meeting on Tuesday, so we're good with that one, right? And looking forward,
Is this group gonna vote on Tuesday? Is that the game plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
looking forward, plans, because it has to go to new business before we can vote. Looking forward, plans to promote our project, those of us that are on the board are already booked in terms of the extravaganza, in terms of promoting, so it's pretty hard to, for us to do that, our Parks and Rec board people.
We just have poster boards, maybe
Yeah.
boards just up so people could just walk by and look at it.
Yeah, maybe something like that, or maybe we could have a little. Yeah, I was good at making a little
Yeah.
pamphlet or something, you know.
I think those will end up all over the park.
We could always like make so like a web, not like a web page, but we could like do like a QR code that people could just scan and it could bring it to like some
Well, and we can have the little pictures
information of some kind, you know.
in hard copy, if you see, but then the
I would say
QR.
just do
That would
boards
be
on.
good.
Boards, yeah,
pencils,
boards,
on
and then the
pencils,
QR.
And then with the QR code on the board,
Yeah.
if you hand pieces of paper out, they're gonna end up
Yeah,
all over
we
the
should
park.
throw it up,
Where's the
yeah.
QR code gonna take you? We already got told we can't have a page.
Yeah, that's, I'll have to like maybe brainstorm.
Yeah,
It could be like a Google Doc that just has all the information mapped out with the photos and everything like that, so people could just rummage through all of it. Or I could partner with a couple people to try and make something that looks nice.
Do you want me to
Your
try
wife
to get?
does that, doesn't she?
Well, she makes book covers, but she's in that, we're gonna, yeah, she's keeping a lot of stuff, yeah.
Do you want me to try to get Jeff Gambino from Imaging to try to do a picture of the pool and a picture of a splash pad and just put conceptual ideas or something like that?
Yeah.
That would,
That wouldn't be bad.
I think that would be good, at least it would.
We
I
have-
can't guarantee anything, we're pushing people's limits.
I know.
Yeah, we have that picture somewhere already, and we have a picture of, you know, the shape of the splash pad and where it would all fit in the picture of the park.
Yeah.
If he could just make that a bigger thing. you
Blow it
know,
up
that we
kind
could-
of,
Yeah,
each color.
yeah, on a
Board.
thicker,
Just
yeah,
pretty.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And they
core
can-
plastic
Yeah.
uses, it's cheap and
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
people can walk by and. you
maybe
put
put it up at the stage, let people see it
the-
there.
Yeah, and just have that little thing there and.
Yeah.
You know, snap it.
Yeah.
and- Yeah.
That'll work. As long as there's something for them to snap it and we'll look at, then we're good.
Oh, yeah, what do you think?
If we put a QR code on it, it has to go somewhere, you know, we can't, you know. I don't know what we wanted to see other than a picture of the pool and a picture of the splash pad.
Can we do,
Well, how about if I just do my, Jeff Gambino, he's got a lot of things he's printing
Yeah.
for extravaganza,
Yeah.
so this is gonna be a big ask for me.
Yeah,
So if I don't get the QR code by tomorrow,
yeah.
yeah, but we don't do that, but even if you did the conceptuals and maybe with the
Right.
budget, what everything's costing.
the budget, in like a lower left-hand corner or
Yeah,
something.
or on a separate one, just so people know that this is how much everything's costing. You know, I think we gotta be really open to people to know
True.
what's going on.
True, yeah.
And if we can't
Or
QR code it to bring it somewhere,
I mean, I
Yeah,
can
it
make
needs-
that. That's,
but it
you
needs,
could,
definitely,
Oh, you
like,
can?
yeah, you make it QR.
yeah, but
Make it
what
a
is it
cube
gonna
itself.
bring us to?
Yeah, that's what, yeah, I
That's-
can make it linked to like I said, like a Google Doc or something like
you
that.
could put the budget
And then we
in.
can update the doc as time goes on, but making the code itself will
Okay.
take minutes, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's not,
And is it a positive, poster board, or is it, just a picture? Is it like vote yes for the?
Oh, no,
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 just-
just a picture of
Mill pond
conceptual
pool
renovation
Conceptual.
plans.
renovation or
Plans.
conceptual plans?
Yeah, just leave it at that.
If people outside of the committee want to promote it, then we can't stop them, but we can
We can't,
say like vote
Yeah.
for this right there.
Cause it's not even.
and we don't even, yeah, there's not even a
Yeah.
pack for us
It's not
to
even
do
about the
anything.
council yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right,
So-
right.
but we can do conceptual plans,
I see.
Okay,
also has the word conceptual on.
okay.
What's that?
Yes, I
Also has
have
the
to
word
say conceptual.
Conceptual.
Yes, that's very important. All right,
Mill pond renovation conceptual plan.
pool, Mill Pond
Mill
pool,
pond
pool, yes.
pool.
Because we're not getting the part. Pool, okay, so we're on to public participation again. All right. Who's up?
I'll go.
Okay.
They're probably after you.
You know, I'm very good. Like Don Woods, 82 Ivy Lane. First of all, thanks to AJ. You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Thank you.
Yay.
But I'm just gonna say this, every major project I know on building committee in this town, I've always said this. This is for the good of the town. I don't understand why we can't come together and totally appreciate the value that this aquatic center will bring to the town. I mean, it's almost embarrassing. You look at smaller towns around us. They have all these amenities. We don't. Why? I don't know why. We have an excellent Parks and Rec department. We have excellent athletic field. We have a great reputation throughout the community, and then we have our pools. So it's time to, again, like I said, I say it every time on every major project, and it never works out that way. There's always a lot of negativity that is, in my opinion, unnecessary. But everybody is entitled to an opinion, to be sure. So I just say, again, this is good for the community. Let's get behind it. Get it to council, get it to bonding, or whatever we need to do and get this thing done. I've been doing this for over 17 years, talking about these schools. It never ends.
So this is all your fault.
It basically, the last meeting I said at Parks and Rec, I hope I live long enough to see them.
Yeah.
That's all. That's
Oh,
all. Thank you.
all right, thank you. Sally? Hello, Sally.
Yes, Sally Larkins, 1531 Main Street. I just have a couple of questions. I saw there's going to be fencing around the splash pad. So my question is, would people need a pass to access the splash pad like they need now to access the pools? And if that's so, would the splash pads be available to residents all summer long, or would there be restrictions on the splash pads for when day camp isn't using them? Also, you kind of talked about the two fitness areas. One would probably have to move. My other question is, on the bottom of the budget you showed, it was 16 million. You guys are talking 12 million. So I know there's a phase 1, phase 2, but you need to break out what's phase 1 versus phase two, because I couldn't figure that out from what was shared on the screen. And that is all I got.
Okay, thank you. Next,
I'm Kelly, 20 Harold Drive. I appreciate the time. I hope I didn't cause too many problems.
no problem, no.
But it was a good, meeting for me to understand what is happening and what you talk about and what's in scope. And I think your name is Eileen, right?
Yes.
And you mentioned that you can't advertise on a page. Well, maybe that's part of the disconnect of why people are wondering what is going on if you really can't advertise. Because where do you go? I tried to search this on the town site and I got nothing. Now, that searching feature isn't the greatest either, but I'm not gonna go there. I just wanted to say thank you and I appreciate your time.
Yep.
Thank you.
And AJ, you did it.
Go ahead.
Okay, speaking of Adrian, Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard. Does it have to be one of you guys who runs this Zoom, like is the Zoom host? Can it be a volunteer from the community who knows how to do this?
Usually staff.
We'll
It's
answer.
I think usually staff, but does it have to be?
Can we answer questions at the end, please?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
So, okay, then,
You are at this one.
Nope.
the gray water. You said that, the splash pad's gonna be open extended hours from the pool. How does that affect the gray water stuff you were talking about? If the pool's not running and now the pool's closed for the season, but the splash pad's still up, what's that going to do to our water bill? Pretty sure that's what the question was. That was so long ago, I kind of forgot. I better take better notes. And then did we ever look into liability insurance? Because now that we're adding a rock wall and diving boards, is that going to be significantly higher with all the stuff that we're adding? And then having pre-programmed on and offs for the splash pads. Speaking as a mom who brought her toddler to the splash pad that had that going on, that was a nightmare because when the kids had their own control, the kids were spread out more. At a splash pad that we went to where it wasn't controlled like that, the kids would all run to the one that finally turned on and there was blood and teeth and everything everywhere. Yeah, no, really, there literally was blood, maybe not teeth. But you got a million little kids running to the one that finally turns on. So I like the push them on yourself thing. Aquatics, C9. When we started talking about that and removing the concrete, if we go over to the other page, I don't know, I think C9 really is just about Mill Pond and is not talking about Churchill, so maybe you should clear Churchill up a little more, at least for me. And security, you're talking about putting up cameras, and that's great, but who's gonna be monitoring those? Are we gonna have to hire a company to be watching them 24/7 like an ADT? Things I really doubt the police department's got time to assign somebody, and they would be way more expensive than an ADT to be watching them 24/7. And then you were talking about labor costs and how it's noted in the bottom of the page. So for me, who thinks I'm pretty proficient at building committee stuff, apparently I'm not, because I don't understand where labor costs are there, so maybe you could explain that better, if not just for me, but for the whole rest of the community. Don't know what that one was. Oh. And just a little, this is not a serious one at all, but if you're talking about putting the fireworks where the balloon ride was, or the carnival where the balloon ride was and stuff, that's a huge spot for spectators. It's just like people are gonna have a hard time seeing the fireworks if you do that, and maybe need to figure something else out. Like maybe I don't know. And that's it.
Okay,
Bill McCarthy, 206 Churchill Drive. I have to start keeping notes, okay, now.
Yeah, I forgot. So,
what I was gonna ask about, there's a couple of things I guess I have to ask about. The bridge that's going, the replacement bridge that's going on over the waterfall is going before another committee next week or something like that. And you talked a little bit about TPZ and water and everybody else that's gonna be influencing our your decision-making process. Do we foresee an issue with bringing this project before the different commissions, committees, whatever they are, in the long run?
Okay,
Then, well, wait, there's more.
okay. Running out of paper, go ahead.
No,
Just kidding.
our focus to get this on the November ballot is admirable. However, we might be putting too much pressure on ourselves. What are the other options that we have as far as either a standalone ballot or even, God forbid, waiting until next year? And to tie in with that, isn't there, I thought I heard something about you need a certain percentage of the voters, a total percent of the voters to show up and vote to count towards the referendum questions. I'm not sure about the wording of that. But if there was, especially if there was a standalone, if you only have a 10% show of the 22,000.
I know.
Yeah, say you have 22,000 people that are registered to vote and only 2,000 show up, then the ballot doesn't even count.
Right, right.
So I think we should try to get this on the ballot for November. The referendum question, the bonding commission, I'm sort of like hazy on that whole process. I just think about the guys in the back room smoking cigars. I think the committee is doing a great job. I want to thank Mr. Mankey for coming in as a representative. And I think John's going to do a great job too. And I think it's important that the committee move forward and try to get this on the referendum. Well, James is going to write things, but get this on the referendum question for the November ballot. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, so. The next one is comments by committee members. I will try to go back and look at, questions from the public from the beginning. I'm sure I missed a few in here, but, there was a question about the high school pool. The high school pool is not ours. That's a Board of Education facility, so I don't know. That's up to them. 10-year congrats to Bill. Yay, rah, rah. 2014. Yeah, pool was dumped in his lap. Plans to work around before then. 10+ years, got it done. Sports fixing pools, Garfield, and splash pad Churchill. Yep, okay, thank you. Peterson support project. Why does social media? Okay, got that. Fencing around the splash pad. Yes, there would be fencing around the splash pad. Yes, it would be open when camp was there and when camp was not there. The fencing is just to keep the kids, under control. So nobody wanders off. Yes, our site sucks. I will say that right out
Well,
loud.
she also asked, do we need a pass like you do for the
Yep.
pool?
Yes.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
What
Um,
sucks?
Our site, our town site sucks. It's too hard to navigate. It's too hard to find any of that.
Okay.
It's not you. I don't care. They can shoot me for saying it, but I think it's terrible. Nobody's gonna need a pass to get into the splash pad. It's gonna be free. It's gonna be non-lifeguarded. You are pass at your own risk, bring your own children, all of that other stuff. The gray water youth pool when it closed. I don't know. That's a bill.
That's a bill question.
Yes. What else we got here?
Just before you go too far,
Yep,
fees and charges are voted on by the Parks and Recreation Board,
right.
so just.
But the splash pad's supposed to be free.
Why is it supposed to be free?
That's.
Are the other towns free?
Depends what
Okay,
the
some-
Parks and Rec board says.
Like in New Britain, are they free? Or are they
In the
part of-
summer, you use your pool pass, so
So you would need a pool pass to use the splash pad?
Oh,
The
that's
Suckers
news
Street,
to
that's
me.
right.
I thought they were free. I thought
but
that.
but it certainly could be.
I don't know, yeah, I heard.
Whatever, I'm just saying, I don't want you to
So
be
there's no
wrapped up in
definitive
that.
answer.
You said this.
Okay, I thought I was operating under the assumption that they were free.
In the shoulder months, for sure, they have to be free because there's no staff there.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
So that would be an easy decision, but I think the Parks and Rec board would entertain that kind of idea.
Okay.
But if you wanted to make that recommendation to the board, then so be it.
So be it.
Since you're on the board, you can make.
Yeah, that would be my
But
recommendation.
you have to remember that you're recycling the water, so you have to supervise them to take a hot soapy shower. Right? You can't let people from the public just walk into an open gate to a splash pad if you're recycling the water during the summer. That's why people use pool passes.
So they'd have to go in through
Through the
the
bathhouse.
bathhouse.
Yeah.
And there'd have to be another opening to the,
Exactly.
I see, I get you. So you would have no way of knowing where they were going. So that would be another problem, right?
Or you could change your filtering system so that you could make it free because.
use all gray water all the time. Right,
Mhm.
instead of recyclable, but it costs more.
Yeah.
6 of one, half of the other.
Maybe not, if you're gonna order the fields anyway, maybe it wouldn't, I don't know, but if we got such high tide, maybe we don't need to order it. I don't know. Okay, what else we got on here? Oh,
Liability insurance.
yeah, the liability issues, we have not discussed that, that's something that we will have to look into, I don't know. Increasing.
But we can say that the town is under CIRMA, which is Connecticut Inter-Risk Management. And most towns in the state of Connecticut are insured by CIRMA. And since all the other towns have splash pads and pools and diving boards and rock walls and slides, I wouldn't assume it'd be too much of a problem.
Okay,
But I think we need an answer. You
Yeah.
just can't say, as soon as it's not gonna be a problem, we have to have an answer, because
Yeah.
people are gonna ask it.
I'll find out. No problem, I will ask. We are following what the old committee did, and based on the test borings and what was proved, it was proved that Garfield was the best site. That's why we decided to move forward with the Garfield plan. Why didn't we review, transparency? We did review, we decided, we looked at all the old notes. I mean, before we even got here, it was determined by the old committee, as far as I could figure out, that the Garfield Street plan was the best plan. So rather than spend our time going back and going over all these notes and rehashing what was done and relooking at the same data, we trusted that the people who came before us knew what they were talking about. We trusted that they, were given the right information that this was the best site, so we moved forward with that site. It didn't have, there were no side discussions or anything. We just moved forward from where we felt the last full committee left off. I don't know, can't read those references. Okay. Anybody else?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
want to follow up on what you
Yeah.
said about the last school committee
Yes.
did support the site, the Garfield site, which they did.
Mhm.
And I know I personally, while I was not on the last committee, I certainly followed this subject very closely for many years now. So I was looking at that all along, and then when I ended up here, we got the information, it was all sent to us again. And it's very clear to me when you read that information, I mean, I think they were right, it is the right site. Without a question, just looking at all the water issues and just everything. So while we.
So we've been more transparent to discuss.
Right, we're not having public
Yeah, I'm
participation
sorry.
right now.
Well, I guess I just want to say that we didn't blindly follow them. I think that both AJ knew, Carol was on the last committee. You've been involved forever.
Been on
So-
the Parks Board, so I do read.
I know Jim, has been looking at, received the information and was, you're looking at it. It's not, I would like to say we didn't blindly follow anything. So I just want to make sure that that's clear.
The other thing, the cameras that are being, I think there was a question on the cameras.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't speak to this definitely, but I have to believe the police have cameras from all over this area. I could even share a story of how one of our former police officers saw his daughter at a middle school dance wearing something she went, how she should have been.
Right, exactly.
And spotted her and mama came down and took her right out of there. So the point is that there's people looking at those people, they are staring. Yeah, it was quite a night. But the point is that there are people looking at those cameras and, you know, they are paying attention to those. I'm assuming this would be a couple of monitors, so I don't know that for sure, but
I'm sure
it's certainly
the gates
something
are gonna
to-
be,
yeah,
have
absolutely.
alarms on them and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
They're digging the week after the extravaganza, we're digging a trench all the way to the concession stand. We're gonna, IT is working on a project with the police department to totally connect the 5G to the town hall. And it will include cameras that are monitored by the police dispatchers.
Yeah.
And I suspect next will be our system, which would be the next regional park that uses department.
And that's all.
Can I
Thank
say
you.
something?
Thank you all for coming.
Carol.
Bill, when we go to the council, can we break out phase one and phase two as two separate, or just even take out?
Just take
phase
phase two right out of it.
Totally take phase two out, and then this way it won't confuse everybody, so they'll see just the bottom line of 11,791 plus the two UV things are gonna be added. I think that'll be less confusing for them. There is something else I need to write down, actually. Oh, I know. So I know like some people are saying that we're rushing this going into referendum. Me, myself, want to know what the entire town, how the entire town feels. Not just those on social media that probably a good portion of the town doesn't go on and doesn't comment on. So, you know, we can put this as a referendum and see what the voters of this town want. If they say no, we know the answer. If they say yes, then we know the answer. But I don't think just those that are on social media should make a determination how this project should move forward. Jim?
Just, we talked about having a meeting on Tuesday next week. Right now, there's a Parks and Rec meeting on that day.
Yeah,
Which is-
we're gonna
He said he was out.
Okay, good. I didn't hear that.
I think we're having a party break.
What? Oh, that's what.
Oh, that's probably what, yes.
All right. And thanks AJ for putting everything out there, because I love Zoom and I want everything. I'm an advocate for everything on the website, watching videos, replays. So thank you.
Can I add one more thing too?
Sure.
We heard it repeatedly tonight. Is there a place, we've all got handouts and memos and everything in our, you know, when we came on here. Can't we put that up somewhere? Is there not a site?
They
Can we
won't
not
give us their own.
Attach them to the minutes for each
Well,
meeting.
I was
And then we
gonna- I
can
was
decide. I mean,
just gonna
they're
say that.
there.
I'm
It's
just
not
gonna
a
say it.
secret. They
Just
should
like-
be accessible.
Right, just like the council
No.
uses the minutes and.
Yeah,
you
it should have been attached to the agenda.
If we get, if there,
Yeah.
if we have it in time when the agenda gets published, then they should be attached to the agenda. If
Yeah,
not, they should be attached. I.
yeah, I mean, there's no reason that shouldn't be out there. I don't know how we do it and who runs that. Somebody needs to.
Well, the minutes go to James. Right, on the.
So who does the minutes now? Who's doing the
Yeah,
minutes?
I'm doing
Oh, you're
minutes,
doing
but. I don't know
See,
what
that's
to
what you
add.
get for, that's what you get for being secretary.
Yeah, that was not explained to me.
Well, normally it's.
That's in the fine print.
It's usually a staff person.
Other duties not related here on the form.
When I asked,
Do you want my notes?
I
I got plenty of them.
no, he's good. He did a nice job on the version.
So what do you want attached to like when the minutes?
Like the
he gets-
handouts.
the minutes.
The handouts.
The packet,
So
anything in
just
the packet.
Anything you share with
the
us.
itemized of phase one and two.
Yeah,
On
maybe-
emails.
Yeah, anything that you share with us should go with the minutes if we talk about it.
Yeah, it's go with agenda.
If-
Since they did it now. put it with
But
the
sometimes we get
minutes.
stuff
The
in the
timing.
interim, we get stuff in the interim, like the day of the meeting, so it would be shared attached to the minutes.
Yeah,
And now we would have to do a special meeting with James also within 24 hours of the Tuesday meeting, right? 'Cause that's gonna not be on our schedule
Right, so
Correct,
just
I'll
the-
get you an agenda tomorrow. And then
in a special meeting. Yeah.
yes, and we'll have to cancel No, well, no, we're scheduled,
We have a
we're
lot of
scheduled, so
other
we're gonna have to
meetings.
add a special meeting for Tuesday. And then Parks and Rec will have to be canceled,
Right.
and I'll have to just get to it, it's not till Tuesday, so it doesn't have to be posted till Monday.
Yeah.
So I can, oh, cause you guys close early tomorrow. Eesh. All right, I'll see what I can do. Okay,
So the agenda is just gonna be business.
yeah, that should be quick, right? Unless something else comes up.
I mean, and if you feel that we need a Parks and Rec meeting before we start again, we can always meet at 7, if you think so.
I think we're okay.
Okay.
The only thing that
You
I,
can't go anywhere.
August.
the only thing I think that's maybe, if we
Oh, that's
don't
right,
meet, if we don't meet as a board, the only thing that's meeting is that people need to know, have a reminder what their assignments are. You know, who volunteered to do what when, that's always important to,
I just send an email.
yeah,
Yeah.
just send that schedule
Yeah.
out, because I'm sure people will forget. You know,
I know what I'm,
We have the most volunteers ever.
good.
We love you guys.
excellent.
That's great. It's really, everybody's coming together quite nicely for me.
Good.
Just pray for good weather.
Yeah.
Again,
Thursday doesn't look good. I don't know. We'll see.
again,
Thursday doesn't look good.
Oh, no. Yeah, but is that
Next,
the storms?
too far. It's too
When
far.
is the carnival start? Is it Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I thought it was, did it used to start Tuesday? Or is it always been Wednesday?
Wednesday.
They used to start on Thursday.
Yeah, my brain had it on Tuesday and I couldn't, I was.
One year it started very, very early.
Yeah,
Like
that's
on
what I'm
Monday.
remembering, like.
It was like a whole week of carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was the first year of the kids camp, Bill, what was that, 3 years ago?
Yeah, something like
And
that.
it
Yeah.
wound up being a disaster.
Yeah,
That's what
because
she's
then,
remembering.
yeah, I remember, I thought I had it.
Motion to adjourn. Do I have a second? All right, all in favor? Thanks guys for coming. You'll see you on Tuesday. All right.